Hello, everybody, and welcome to our Super Saturday event. We are so excited that you're joining us. I am so excited to hear from all of these leaders that are going to be sharing today, and I hope you guys are as well. A lot of them just returned from our leadership conference event in Miami, and so I am excited for them to bring the fire, bring the heat, and it's just been amazing to hear the feedback from that. But a little bit about me. My name is Christy Van Dam. You guys, I have been doing this for 13 years now. The company was about 6 months old when it fell into my lap, and it has forever changed my world. So I know it's changed a lot of yours as well. So I'm excited that you guys are here joining us. And like I said, thanks again to those of you guys who are sharing. And thanks to Mark Walker for jumping on and being our corporate guest today. But you guys, let's get this started. First of all, let's see where everybody's joining from. I want to see it in the chat. I know some of you guys are already doing that, but it's so much fun to see how far we can reach with these things. I love technology, and I love that we can just see each other face to face anytime we want to. So what we're going to do first is hear from Silver Executive Stacy Loftus, and he's going to talk about Xyngular as a profession. And I'm so excited. I've gotten to know Stacy over the years. We've traveled together, just had a blast, and he's also had a big hand in putting this together with us. So Stacy, thank you for all your hard work for Super Saturday. And I'm just going to go ahead and get it started and turn it over to you.
Awesome. Thank you, Christy. And let me tell you, I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to hear about everything that all these great leaders are going to talk about. But let's jump in and talk about Xyngular as a profession. But first, before we talk about Xyngular as a profession, let's just talk about professions in general. Let's talk about what it takes to get there and the income they make. So this is going to be a little bit of participation on your part to help me out. So in the comments, I want you to think about what a starting salary is for different professions, as an average, with teachers, nurses, police officers, people in banking, social workers. When you think of those professions, what do you think that the average income with them getting started is? So I'm going to start putting them in the comments. I see 30, I saw 50 pop up, I saw 40, I saw 40, saw 95, 75, 40, 100. Oh wow, okay, these are popping up so fast I can't read them all. Okay, this is awesome, because let me tell you, I've done this training multiple times and I always get the same range of numbers, usually somewhere between 30 to 80,000. And if you Google it, it's actually somewhere between 50 and 60,000. So you guys are right in that target of what professionals make coming straight out of college. So let's talk about what it takes for people to come out of college or to start making that professional income. One, they're spending 4 years in college. Okay, so 4 years before they start making a professional income is dedicated for education and training. 4 years. During those 4 years, how many hours a day do you think that college students spend in class and studying? So put that in the comments. How many hours a day do you think they spend in class and studying? I see 8 hours pop up. I see 12. I saw 6. I see 12 again. I see 10. I see 11, 8. 10 to 12, 10 to 16, 9. Okay, this is awesome. I love this. Okay, so it takes an average, or college student spends about an average of 6 to 8 hours a day between class and studying. So for 4 years, 5 days a week, maybe even more when it comes to studying, they're spending 6 to 8 hours a day. And then I just saw Stephanie put in there, and the debt. We're getting to that next. So for all that, what do you think the average college tuition is for 4 years? For a 4-year degree, put in the comments what you think the average college tuition is. Okay, I see 160 pop up. I see 80. So 80 a couple times. I see 100. I see 120. I saw 65, see 90, 120. My gosh, I almost feel like an auctioneer going all over the place. So you guys are right on target with this, because it's about $80,000 to $100,000 in debt. So let's talk about what we've got so far. We've got 4 years in college. We've got 6 to 8 hours a day studying. We've got a college tuition of 80 to 100,000. Now, talking about the debt, how long do you think that it takes the average college student to pay off that debt? So put that in the comments. Forever. Yes, it feels like forever sometimes. 25 years. I think I saw 10 years pop up. I saw 6. I see 20. I see 30. 20 years plus 10 years. Okay. Once again, you guys are right on target. The average is about 15 years. So everything that all that education that they've spent money on, it takes them 15 years to get caught up on paying for what they did in 4 years to start making that professional income. Now, this is acceptable. In the society we live in, this is acceptable and it's expected. People expect for people to go and spend this money, spend this time, and come out of college and make that average of $50,000 to $60,000 a year. And one thing I skipped over was this. Over 20 years, okay, in a profession, what do you think the amount of raise they get? Okay, in 20 years. So put that in there. If they started at, let's say they started at 50,000 in 20 years, what do you project and think that they would be making? 2% a year, okay? 20%, 24%, 2 to 4% a year. And that's right. So if someone starts around 50 to 55,000 and they get a 2% raise every year, they will make it in 20 years only be making $80,000. That's when you're talking about putting all that much time in, all that much money in, and all those years dedicated to a profession, and you're only getting paid an extra $30,000 more or less. That's insane. But like I said, that's what society expects from us. That's what we're taught. That's what's drilled into us. We don't talk about a different way. We've not been taught a different way. And it's time that we do. It's time that we educate people that there is a different way to earn money, and that is the Xyngular way. So let's talk about Xyngular for a minute. Let's talk about looking at Xyngular as a profession. Starting off with this. What is the cost for coming in to Xyngular? Okay, one, it's a $50 annual distributor fee. That's it. You get your whole business set up for $50. You are paying $120 or 120 PV a month, and that's debatable, guys. If I wasn't doing the business, I'd still be spending money on the product. So that's kind of debatable, in my opinion, of that $200 a month, because a lot of people buy those products anyways. So, but if you want to, put all the numbers in there, okay, $200 a month, and that's your starting cost. Okay, that's it. Now, let's move on to education. And I love this part. And this is where people really get their eyes open when we start comparing things, is majority of our education here is free. Education and training. What do I mean by that? Talking about your team trainings, your one-on-one trainings, your the XDC. They do trainings in there all the time that are free. Let's see. Room at the Top. Freddie and Kala do a great Room at the Top every Monday. There's also Super Saturdays like this that we jump on about once a month, once every couple months. And you're getting trained in all of these things I mentioned by professionals in Xyngular. The top leaders are training in each and every one of these, and they're free. So the majority of your training and your education is free. Now, there are some Xyngular corporate events a few times a year, Zing Fling, Zing Fest, XLC, and then your regionals. Depending on where you're traveling from and where the events are at, where we're staying at, you're looking at probably investing maybe $1,500 to $2,000, like I said, depending on your flights and stuff. And then with regionals, a lot cheaper if you go to regionals. You're talking about maybe $500, and that's for 2 nights. If you're spending one night and driving back home after the Saturday meeting, it's going to be less. So compared to looking at $80,000 to $100,000 of going in debt and paying it off in 15 plus years, compared to the training that we have here in the education that's provided, it's hands down a much better model and program. Now, let's see, make sure I didn't miss anything here. So with Xyngular, when do you start earning money? You can start earning money immediately. Immediately. We talked about 4 years in college, not earning that professional income, and before they start earning it. With Xyngular, you can immediately start earning income and start building it. So think about this. If you spent 6 hours a day, the average of 6 to 8 hours a day for 4 years with Xyngular, getting the education and training that's provided, where could you be? I want you to think about it. As a matter of fact, if you're taking notes, I want you to actually put that down. And if you want to, you can put it in the comments. If you spent 6 to 8 hours a day dedicated to Xyngular for 4 years, where could you be? And I don't think we think about that enough. Where could you be? It could be anywhere because it's not capped. The income here is not capped. You can earn, there's people in this company in 4 years that's earning, $30,000 a month, $40,000 a month, and even more after 4 years. So the professional income of $50,000 that it takes 4 years, you can start doing that in less than that without all that debt. So I'm going to end with talking about this. I don't think that the self-gratification thing is as big as what people say when it comes to this business. I really don't, because if the instant gratification is that quick, or is that important? Because if instant gratification was that important, people wouldn't go to college for 4 years. They wouldn't spend 6 to 8 hours a day for 4 years. They wouldn't go into debt $80,000 to $100,000 for 4 years. So instant gratification is not big. What's big is the vision. Because when people go into college, make that decision, and they go through, they are getting this vision that when they come out in 4 years, they're going to be making X amount of money. Okay. So it's not an instant gratification thing that we struggle with here. Okay. It is getting them to see the vision. Because if we can if people can have the vision of spending that much money and that much time in 4 years, then we need to work on getting them to see the vision and just say, hey, if you're willing and if it's acceptable for us to spend that much money and that much time in 4 years to get a profession, why would you not put that much time and effort into this? Because in 4 years, you can be doing a lot more and making a lot more money with time freedom and even travel on top of that in 4 years, if we get them to capture the vision. So that's what I want you guys to focus on. That's what I want you guys to take out of this is look at what society says, look at what we have, and get people to see that we have a better way. Our vision is much better than what they've been taught. So Christy, that's it. I'm going to turn it back over to you, and thank you so much.
Oh my gosh, Stacy, great points. It's amazing to hear it. I mean, I know it and I've been told and I've read and all those things, but when you actually hear it, doesn't it make you guys want to do more for your business? Doesn't it make you guys want to put more time in for your business? I know it totally does for me. So thank you so much, Stacy, for that eye-opening message this morning. And I am super excited to introduce Cheyenne Neal. She is next. She's a platinum manager. She's going to talk about in-person parties and events, and she has taken time out of her busy day, joining us from her car. Her family is there as well. So Cheyenne, thank you so much for joining us. I'm going to turn it over to you.
Hey guys, I am so excited to be here and I have to talk all about parties. I am a retired florist of 13 years and a corporate party planner. So gathering people is my jam. And I cannot wait to tell you how I've taken those skills and implemented them into my Xyngular business. And I hope that you can take these tools and help grow your businesses as well. So I want you to realize that when I say party, we may be talking about 5 people and we may be talking about 75. It's going to depend. Are you doing a home party? Are you doing a city meeting? What is it that you're doing? So when I tell you these things, not everything is going to go all the way across the board for every gathering of people that we have, but it's going to fit certain areas. And I want you to take these things and make them your own. I do have to give some shout outs. Lots of these things I've gathered from Xyngular people that have poured into me, and then I've paired them with what I know from the party planning business. So, like I said, if it's less people, keep it simple. That is okay. It doesn't have to be a ton of people. I will tell you that some of my smaller parties have been some of my most successful parties. I've had more one-on-one conversations and more distributors or partners come out of those than some of my bigger meetings sometimes. So when you get there, please don't get deflated if only 3 to 5 people show up. It can still be a success. That might be the one person that you have been looking for. And I also want you to know, I want you to keep this in your budget. This is not about spending a lot of money. It is about using the tools that you have and keeping the budget so that you're still making money. The point is not to blow money, it's to make money. So look at using your home. You wouldn't have to have a venue. Look at using a restaurant. They let you use that for free as well. Now, when it comes to our city meetings, I understand that sometimes we have to rent a facility, and that's okay, but those are different. And I also want you to think outside of just home parties and parties at restaurants and city meetings. What about vendor shows? We've been going to farmers markets, craft shows. People are starting to know what the word Xyngular means, what we do, and they're putting a name with a face, and we are gathering phone numbers and names, and we are getting lots and lots of prospects off of that. So get out there and get yourself in front of people. What we do to get the word out is you have got to get the word out. And it can't be one way. One way is not going to do it. A Facebook event is not the only way to get it happen. And honestly, if that's all you do, it's going to be a flop majority of the time. I want you to get a Facebook event invite out. Here's some statistics. On my first city meeting that I did with Lexi, May 1, we invited 880 people on the Facebook invitation. I had 28 that said they were interested, 17 that said they were coming, and I had 43 people show up. 43 people was a huge success, but I'm telling you these statistics to tell you 880 people had to get that invitation to get those 43 people to show up. So keep that in mind. You also need to do messages and phone calls with that. You can't just do a mass invite. I will tell you, I mass invite too, but my specific people, I send them a message. I send, hey, I'm inviting you to this. The link is on Facebook. Here's the deal. Here's a flyer about it. And I also let them know there is absolutely no pressure. Just come, have fun. Let me educate you on what this is about. And if it is for you, I want to tell you everything about it. And if it's not, just come and be my friend and hang out with me and see what it is that I do. Maybe you know somebody. And we're just taking and we're lowering that bar so that people aren't like, oh my gosh, if I go to Cheyenne's party, I'm going to have to buy something. That's not what I want them to feel. Voice clips, phone calls, and I love the week of. I am a very organized person, but if you want to get out there and do it way ahead of time, that's fine. People have commitment issues, though. They're not going to click. They're not going to tell you if they're going to come because they don't know if they've got a better offer coming up or what in the heck their work or their kid's schedule is. So honestly, the best thing is hit the ground running a week and a half out and go hard. Flyers around your town. Who do you do business with? Who's your nail tech? Who's your chiropractor? Who works at the gym? Who's the cleaners person? Who's your hairdresser? You're already doing business with them. Why wouldn't they think about doing business with you? Print off some flyers, go out there and hang them up at their businesses, invite their employees and invite them with it. It should be plastered. over your walls, over your stories on Facebook, your Instagram, and that is the power of your team. Get them information. If they want a flyer with their name on it, that takes literally 30 seconds to change in Canva. If they, that way they can print them off and go hand those out. And so give them a reason. Getting in the car and running around town and handing those out and giving them a few little samples here and there is huge. Make a list of people who tell you that they're coming. Follow up. This I took from Melissa Corbin and Crystal Nichols. Get VIP seating. I didn't do this at my first one, but they told me about it my second one. So let's say I call up Susan. Hey, Susan, I'm having this party. I really want you to come. There is no pressure, but would you be available to come hear about Xyngular on this date? Oh my gosh, Shane, I've been seeing you posted about that. That would be great. I would love to be here. Susan, I'm so glad. Let me save you a seat. I have some VIP seating and I will have a seat with your name on it. And you find me because I have a small little gift. I just did a small trim stick with one of my business cards that was tied around it, put it on their seat, put their name. And so I had a few tables set up that had people's names and the gift there. So now I know that she's coming. She knows I'm saving her a seat and she knows that I'm investing in her with a small gift. Then this is where I took it one step farther. The day of, if you can get in there and get set up, I took a picture of their seat and said, hey, Susan, look, I have your spot and your prize ready to go. I cannot wait to see you tonight. So now I'm reminding her about the event that's happening that night. I've showed her I really have gone through with my investment with her and got her a spot and got her a free gift. So those are all little bitty ways that you can spool people, but you're still reminding them of going on. And I love the fact that they have a seat, but let's go a little farther. You don't want to walk into a room where the one person that me that invited you is going to be super busy. Let's get real. So I'm like, Susan, and I set you right next to Evelyn. I know that we all know each other from the 4-H club, and I know that you guys know each other. And so I want to make sure that there is going to be somebody else there that you know. Guys, I am just lowering the anxiety and the pressure with all of those things, little bitty things. Sign Up Genius. If you don't know what Sign Up Genius is, Google it after we get done here, and it will save you so much time. It's a sign up sheet. You send it out a link. People sign up for what they do. Use this for your city meetings. We do cross lines, sister lines, up lines, down lines, and I just send that little bad boy out, and people sign up for it. It takes the load off of me. Just because I might be the go-to for the city meeting, everybody is able to jump in. Now, for my home parties and my vendor shows, I don't need Sign Up Genius, but those larger scale ones that could start tallying up to a lot of money, it's a great way to lighten the load on you. Something I do for my team is I have a team tub. So when I'm talking about these vendor shows that I'm going to or setting up for these events or these parties, it's all set to go. My girls and guys have absolutely no reason they can't do it because I have everything ready for them. I have all of the empty bottles. Save all your empty containers for your stuff. I have the catalogs. I have the spandex tablecloths. I have the little tickets for the door prizes. I have the pins. I have the party forms. It's all in the bucket. So if Joey calls me and says, hey, I want to go do this farmer's market. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to be out of town, but I'll get you the team tub. Where can I meet you? And man, she doesn't think twice about signing up for that because I have already done all the work for her, hand off the tub. And guys, I'm going to benefit from that. That's the least I can do to encourage her to go. And she feels like she can do it. We have a banner that I made on Canva. It says, would you like to lose 15 pounds in 8 days? We have a little carry around, it's like a background holder, like a framework, and it just stretches that little deal. And I drive a car. All this stuff fits into the car. And so the prepped bucket with the background, with all the things help. And balloons are cheap. I know I told y'all I was a retired florist. Balloons are cheap. Get you an air balloon machine from the Party City, and you can fluff up any room or tell them what door to get into really easy with your little balloon machine. And so that's kind of the pre-party and then the party, the pre-party stuff. So now we're shifting into party time. And I know I'm rolling through this, but it's such good information and I'm not going to go over. Party time. On my tables, you have a party form. You have a QR code from corporate that has the income summary on it. And guys, these are just little pieces of paper. So they're sitting there listening. They can scan it, see how much money is available for them to make. A party form is a simple little Google Doc that I have and says, What areas do you want to improve? Weight loss, energy, sleep, how much weight do you want to lose? Then when that party gets done and we get done telling our stories and doing the samples, I can look at that and go, whoop, that's what they need. Okay, because we have a lot of people to talk to and it cuts down on the time of having to start from scratch. So party form QR codes, I use all my empty bottles as centerpieces. I don't have to have centerpieces for all of them. But my city meetings where I have 10 and 12 tables set up, we put an 8-day kit or an empty box of a tummy tamer and then the products that go in it. And then we're telling the people as we're talking about it, what's on those tables. Last city meeting I did, I put macaroni grill style butcher paper down on my paper. And I put my samples on the round tables where people were sitting versus them being on a table at the back of the room labeled. I gave out so many more samples and so many more people used those samples because they were on the table. So I have a collagen story. I got up, told my business story, told my product story, and then I said, the product I'm going to highlight is Pina Colada Collagen. If you'll look on your table, you'll see wrote Pina Colada Collagen. We wrote the name, and we had little portion cups of Pina Colada Collagen. If everybody will take that, take a sip of our Pina Colada Collagen, and this is what it can do for you. Then we turned around and another girl talked about Global Blend, and another girl talked about a trim stick, and we did a product highlight and collectively as a room talked about it and tasted it. So that was really good. Got to give a shout out to Mallory Adams. She is one of the team members for us. Mocktails. Get on the Amazon, buy you a juice bottle like they have in the bar, get you a deal to salt and sugar, some rings of some cups, and do mocktails. Make up cherry limeades with spring and trim stick. Make up collagen and trim stick mixed together. Get you a little fruit condiment tray and put you a cherry or a lime slice on there. Put a little umbrella in there. Make it fun. Make it a party you want to go to. And so then they could get up and they could go do the mocktails and stuff. And they've had the samples. And like when we go to the vendor shows, I don't take all the samples. I will literally say free cherry limeades today. And I give away cherry limeades and I highlight fruit punch trim stick and I'll highlight lemon lime spring. Now, if you want to buy an X Advance, by golly, I'll sell you one there, but I'm not going to have all the stuff there. I just have that one thing because I'm keeping it in my budget. We have a swag table. What did you get from all these events that you could show these people how good Xyngular spools us? We have door prizes that we give away. We have a passport table that has pictures of our trips and the places that we can go. And then we do have a few light food. Don't spend a whole lot of money on food. People don't come to these things to eat. They come to hang out with their friends, have some fun little drinks, and support you and hear about Xyngular. And sometimes at bigger events, we have PowerPoints, the littler ones. I don't do PowerPoint. So you can totally make this your own. So that's party time. And now we're to the after party. Get into a rhythm. I had 4 in-person events in May. I had 5 in June. I've got 1 for July, and we're working on booking out August. And you need to hype it up. When it is over, it needs to be like they missed the best night of their life. I want your customers posting. I want your partners posting, you posting. You missed out. We missed you. And I want you to follow up with every person that clicked and said they were coming and didn't show up. Are you okay? Was everything all right? I missed you last night. Care about your people. Be concerned about them and make sure they don't miss the next one. Ask for a follow-up. You don't have to have an event to sell something, but you can follow up with these people and make sure that if something did happen, they can still get their stuff. Thank you messages for anybody who came. Thank you so much for showing up from party. It was so good to see you. I'm so glad that you're going to get started, or I can't wait to talk to you more about this and get organized. Get with your team. What worked? What didn't work? What do we need to do different? Get this stuff in an Excel worksheet. It needs to become a no-brainer. It needs to be there so that you can dive into it and go, we need to have a city meeting. Lexi Ackley called me on a Saturday. On a Monday, we had a date, and the next Monday, we had our very first city meeting happen. This is not something that you need a ton of time to do. My people, if you're a new partner with me, you either have a Facebook party or you have an in-person party. They don't know any difference. You don't have a choice. That is just part of my onboarding system. And don't think that you need to stay in your area. Get an hour, 2 hours away. I've been to Fort Worth. I've been to Keller. I've been to Vernon. Go and ask yourself, what kind of party would I dread going to? And what kind of party would I really like to be a part of? These will change your businesses. Go ask people to host them for you, and I promise that you will see something big happening in your business. So that's all I have. And looky there, I'm right on time, Stacy and Christy.
Oh my gosh. How many of you guys want to go book a party right now? After hearing all of those ideas, I I need to re-listen to this, Cheyenne, but that was amazing. And one thing I want to add to that, sometimes you're not going to have a lot of people show up. And sometimes you're going to have a lot of people show up. So don't let that discourage you, and make sure that you present the same for one person. Like, you don't be like, only one showed up. Make sure you present the same for one person as you would for 50 people. Make it exciting and make it fun. And I just want to bottle up her energy. That was awesome, Cheyenne. Thank you so much for all of those great tips. And everybody's asking for your information, like all the things you do. So if you could put that together and send it over, we'll get it out to everybody. Thank you so much. All right, next up, you guys, I am pumped about this. Michael Stoller is an executive with our company, and he is going to talk about social media. So keep the pens ready, keep the writing going, because I'm so excited about this. He's amazing. So Michael, it's all yours.
Thank you so much. I'm going to dive right in. If that wasn't enough with Cheyenne already drinking from a fire hose, you're about to drink from it doubly, because I've got a lot of information. First few minutes of this, I want to level the playing field. So some of you OGs, this might be fairly obvious, but I promise that I'm about to bring some things to you today that might be some new information. I am someone who really likes to stay on top of current trends with social media. I've invested a lot of time and money to make sure of that, because that's how we've built our business. So first and foremost, are your social media pages set up properly? I don't care what platforms you are currently using, but we need to make sure that they're set up properly. So first, the very first thing is your profile picture, because when people go to your page, they are going to take about 7 seconds to decide whether or not you are someone that they want to connect with. So your profile picture is the place to start. You should be having a headshot that is clear. It is also recommended to remove the background of said profile shot. You can use something like Canva or a program similar to that. There's a lot of different options out there, and put a colorful background behind that profile picture. The reason why is that, where do sales tend to go down? They go down in your DMs, right? So when you're in those conversations in DM, when you're in Messenger, it's a really small little dot of your profile picture. People can barely see it. If it isn't a headshot, if it's way out, if it doesn't have that colorful background, you have less likelihood to stand out when those little dots are real small. And it happens in a few different places on social media. The other thing is your cover photo. Is it clear? Does it make sense to your brand? We're going to talk more about that here in just a second. Are your accounts set to public? If you're in the witness protection program, and the way that you set up your accounts, no one is going to find you, and you will never grow an online brand. We don't need to be in the witness protection program here. Certainly you can block certain people if you see fit for whatever personal reasons, but in general, you want to make sure that these are set to public. The other thing is your bio. A lot of people get this wrong. Your bio is not about you. Your bio is about the people that are looking at your account. What are they going to get when they go to your account? Again, it doesn't matter what platform we're talking about. If you are just telling them what you are all about, that's not enough. They need to know, what am I going to get here? How are you going to help me? What kind of value are you going to provide? So just keep that in mind in terms of just all that bio stuff at the top of any of those pages. You are your brand. It is Xyngular's job to work on the marketing and branding of Xyngular. Your job is to brand you. Xyngular is one part of your brand. And for each and every person on this Zoom today, we all have a different brand. We all have different personalities, different hobbies, different interests. And it's important that we understand that. Corporate graphics are great. When they do a promo, it's wonderful. But if someone goes to your social media every time there's a promotion and all they're seeing are corporate graphics branded with Xyngular, 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 all over the place. Or someone goes to your stories and it's one before and after photo after another, you're not branding yourself. That's not all of who you are. So it's really important to understand that, because when someone goes to a page like that, especially in modern day right now, your commission breath is going to stink right through the screen. And we don't need that. We need people to really get to know who we are. And sometimes we have to sell without selling. And the way you do that is by telling stories and also telling more about who you are than just selling them stuff. What makes you you? How can you stand out from the noise on social media? But my question for you today is, are you getting fit? And you're like, this is a workout training? No. Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok are the three most major platforms that you will gain the most traction to build a brand on social media right now, arguably. Now, there are other ones too, and you can certainly explore them. But in my opinion, in this day and age, in 2023, you have to be omnipresent. You have to show your face everywhere. You cannot just be on one platform. How many of you here have ever repurposed a reel or a piece of content from one platform where it did not actually perform, and all of a sudden it starts to take off on another platform? You never know. Every single algorithm is different on every single one of these platforms. They're constantly changing. And I hate to say it, a lot of times when we're putting out content, it's kind of like we're buying a lottery ticket every single time in this world. Like, we have no idea what is going to be received in a certain way by the algorithm and by your audience. Okay. Do it afraid. If there are certain platforms that you kind of shied away from, just do it anyway. I have been super hesitant to go in headfirst on TikTok. And a few weeks ago, I finally ripped the Band-Aid off, and what I'm beginning to experience has been really amazing. It's still scary. It's a totally different platform. And I did the same thing on Instagram a couple of years ago. If you need to do it kind of one at a time, do whatever works for you. But I'm telling you right now, if you're putting all your eggs in one basket, that's a problem. When one of these platforms goes down for a day, if you're only on one platform, unfortunately, what's going to happen? Your whole business stops. So we have to spread ourselves and make sure that we are showing our face all over the place. Speaking of showing your face, let's talk about video content for a moment so you can all just let your stomach go into your throat. So you must be showing your face on camera to build a big brand. Let me repeat that for the people in the back. You must show your face on camera to build a big brand. Maybe you don't want to build a big brand, and maybe this won't pertain to you. And I'm not saying that you can't physically build a big brand online without ever showing your face. There's several examples of this, but if you're going to do that, then I'm going to also challenge you to step up your content game. More consistency, more posts, better quality posts. You better show up, because if you're never showing your face, they are never really going, it's going to take a lot more for them to build that trust with you. It's important. And if you're someone who's kind of afraid to do that, you can pre-record videos and make sure it's exactly the way you want it. You can do a live interview where you're interviewing someone on live video. There's a lot of ways to do this. Just do it afraid. And the reality is, whatever you're telling yourself in your head about what people are thinking of you when you're doing this video, it's probably not actually a conversation that's being had, because they probably don't care that much. You probably care way more than they do. But video content is king. Whether we're talking long form video, short form video, in your stories, if you are not showing your face, it is hard for people to trust anything you are saying. And there's a lot of research to support that. In addition, we want to be making recommendations, and not just Xyngular, my friends. We need to be consistently recommending different products, services, things that we love all the time. There's some people in this community that do an amazing job of that. But if you're making recommendations all the time, guess what happens when you start recommending Xyngular products? It's all part of what you do online. You become the person that people love to go and follow, because you're going to provide them great recommendations. If you went and bought something on Amazon that you're loving, you got a great deal, go and share that in your stories. Talk about it. Okay. Looking at my notes here. But the cool thing is, when you're recommending different things besides Xyngular, when the time comes that you do recommend Xyngular, there's more trust there. It's more likely to lead to more conversations about Xyngular as you're having conversations about those other things. Speaking of conversations, you are looking to create as many conversations online as possible. That has been the case in network marketing since its inception. It is not changed by going online. The person who has the most conversations wins. So how can we leverage this online? Well, first of all, on your stories, hopefully you're using engagement stickers. Hopefully you're doing call to action in your stories, like, hey, if that interests you, or reply the word whatever for whatever it might be. And it doesn't have to be when you're specifically selling something. My point is, you have to have calls to action in your stories to get them to reply. Why? Because every single time that they replied to something that you prompted or you put an engagement sticker, it's going into their DMs. And what happens in their DMs? That's where selling goes on. It's not happening on those posts. Those posts are just the billboard that's just drawing them in to have a conversation. So knowing this is really important. Watching my time here, because it's a lot. So knowing this is really important, and I'm going to share some statistics with you, and I might ruffle a few feathers right now, but I am very in tune with statistics and where the trends are and where they're going. So just some food for thought. If you have things that you're doing right now on social media that are working that are maybe against what I'm about to say, keep doing it. But I'm just consider this. So a bunch of research recently came out about the concept of saying link in bio. Okay. When you say link in bio in your content, you will get 33% less views on that content and a click-through rate of 0.7%. Sorry, I don't have slides to go with this. Anyway, the stories link sticker. We got real excited when Instagram came out with the stories link sticker because now everyone has it. The stories link sticker, 40% less views on those stories and a 1% click-through rate. Don't worry, the good news is coming. If you comment a keyword, or maybe you're using DM automation, which I am not going into today, that is 3 to 4 times more engagement and a 46% click-through rate. You ever go to someone's stories and they say something like, respond the word hack if you want to learn about da-da-da-da-da. That's what I'm talking about. So it is really important to keep that in mind. Times are constantly changing. And the other reason for that, remember I just said about conversations? What happens when you do a link sticker? There's no conversation. There's no relationship being built. We have to be building relationships. And the way to do that is getting them into DMs and into conversations so that we can get to know them better and they can get to know us a little bit better. Who is your ideal customer? I want to touch on this really, really quickly. You have to think about this. If you're going out there on social media, assuming anyone with a heartbeat and skin is going to be your customer, you're doing this wrong. And I've made this mistake, by the way, and it's only very recently that I've honed in on my audience more. I am over 40. I have struggled with weight in the last few years a little bit more so than I ever have in my life. The things that I did in my 20s and 30s don't work anymore. I talk about that. I am targeting people over 40. That is my target audience. I am not looking to talk to people that are in their 20s. I'm not saying I won't talk to them. I'm not saying I can't help them, but ideally I know who I want to do business with and I've honed in on that. You got to give that some thought. And if you're like, well, who would that be? It's kind of who you are now or who you were when you got started. Give that some thought because you need to think about things like what are they into? How do they talk? What are their pain points? And I'm noticing more and more that this is becoming relevant, especially on TikTok, especially on Instagram. Do you guys know how many people right now are using TikTok as their Google search function for different things that they want to find out? They're going, and you want to know whose accounts they're going to, the ones that are super targeted and are super niche down. So something to think about. And I have like 1 minute, so I'm probably going to skip this next portion because we don't have time for it. But wanted to like touch on AI for a second, which I know is also a little controversial, but we don't have time for it. But anyway, whatever the mind can conceive and believe it can achieve. Napoleon Hill said that. It is one of my favorite quotes of all time. And here's the thing. I know for so many of you, social media can be really, really scary. When I started here over 6 years ago, even though I'm very technologically savvy, I did not really use social media much. I only had Facebook. I did not know how to build a business on social media. I have invested time and money. And yes, as Stacy mentioned, we have a lot of free training and valuable leaders here that have great information, and we can absolutely fill our cups with things like this. However, I personally am a huge believer in investing in mentorship, and we've done that. And it has helped us to be successful in general, but more specifically, it has helped us to kind of unlock the code for social media. So I just challenge you to step out of your comfort zone, do it afraid. And one last thing before I hop off, make sure that you are following me on all platforms. You can find me at the Michael Stoller on Instagram and TikTok. You can find me at Michael Stoller on Facebook. You see what I did there? That's a call to action, my friends. And you should have one on every single piece of content that you're putting out all the time, because that is going to bring you more engagement and more followers. If you want your accounts and your followings to grow, you must ask for it. Okay. So that's pretty much all I've got today. Again, sorry I had to vomit this on you really, really fast. But if you have questions about any of this, feel free to reach out to me personally. I'm happy to answer any questions afterwards.
Oh my gosh, Michael, that was golden. And I think everyone agrees you're going to have to come back on and do more of that, because I love the tips. And if you would put your platforms in the chat as well, people are asking for that. That'd be awesome. Thanks for all that information. I hope you guys are overloaded like I am. This is key. So next up, we are going to have Platinum Director Jamie Maestri, and I'm so excited. I've gotten to travel with her and her family, and our kids have become friends, and I just love our community so much. So Jamie is going to talk to us about moving your customers to partners. So keep those pens ready, guys. And Jamie, I'm going to turn it to you.
All right. Thank you. I am so excited to be here, you guys. And I'm telling you what, my mind is literally spinning in about 50 different directions right now. So I'm trying to like hone it back into what I'm supposed to be talking about, because everybody has literally brought the fire today, brought so many great ideas and so many, I just feel like it can all just be tied together too with this neat little bow, and your businesses are going to explode if you put into action the things that you've been hearing. So let me jump right in. Yes, as Christy said, I'm going to be talking about bringing your customers on to being brand partners with you. And you might have noticed, if you've been here very long, I've been here for just celebrated my 4th year last month with Xyngular. But I've been in this industry. Let me just say this. I've been in this industry for almost 30 years. I'm about a year shy of 30 years of being in the direct sales industry. So I have a lot of experience from other companies, and I will tell you, this is the best place for personal growth, by the way. So you might have noticed that your customers, if you've been here long enough, have been your bread and butter for the last several years, right? Because we have great customers, because we have great products. And so I'm going to tell you, you guys have a gold mine right there. I know we're always like trying to find like the next customer, and we want to keep growing our customer bases, of course. But don't neglect what you already have right there, because you're sitting on a pot of gold in your customer base. Even if you've got a list, if you go and get in your back office and you look and see who's ordering every month, and you've got a bunch of zeros in there, because if you've been here long enough at all, you're going to have, some zeros there. Those are still a pot of gold for you to go back to, and not just reconnect with the products, but reconnect with the business, because more than likely the reason that there are zeros in there is because of money, right? We know the products are great. We know the products work. We know that they've been loyal customers. So if you've got some zeros in there, it's probably money, and you have the answer for that too, right? So it's a perfect place to start to build your business. So if you're starting from ground zero, again, if you're rebuilding, which I know a lot of us are in that, your customer base is the first place I would recommend that you go to. They already love the products. They already trust the company. They already have a relationship with you and trust you. And that's a foundation that you can continue to build on. Okay, I have notes here, which is so good. Nobody else talked with notes. I have to have notes to keep me on track. So anyway, kudos to you guys who could do this without notes, but thankfully I have notes so I don't go off on all kinds of rabbit trails. I do want to tell you, if you're struggling in this business, if you're frustrated, if you're just like, everything I'm doing is not working, I'm going to tell you right now that success is predictable in this business. Okay, may go against what you might think in your own head and what you've been telling yourself, but success is predictable in this business. Okay, so number one, talk to more people. Number two, talk to better quality people. I'll talk about that in just a second, because I'm not being a stuck-up snob when I say that. Number three, do a better job at follow-up. Number 4, improve your skills, which Michael did a great job talking about that. And number 5, improve your strategy and work from a plan. So I'm going to tie all that back into how you bring your customers on as brand partners. But it starts with the foundation of how are you doing that, right? So if you're not getting the results that you want, if you're talking to 5 people a month, it's going to take you a couple of years to probably find 1 or 2 runners, right? So talk to more people, talk to better quality people. That can fall into what Michael was talking about with your niche, like who are you relatable to? Who are you trying to draw in? And also, there are people out there who just have negative mindsets. We don't need those people, right? You don't want to be trying to do business with people who are always Debbie Downers and negative and, the sky's falling and the world's, going to burn up in a minute. All right. So I'm also going to tell you guys, there are 350 million people in America. So there's no reason to be thinking that you can't do this business. There's no reason to be thinking that this isn't going to work for you. 350 million people in America, and we're about to, bust open worldwide too. So I don't even know how many people that's going to bring into, but there's many people out there. You've got the pot of gold with your customer base already. So I'm going to tell you what I've been doing. Sometimes it can take a while to build these relationships, but it's not really about you. It's about them. And my last 2 business partners that I have gotten just in the last month, one is a lifetime friend. We actually did Mary Kay together many years ago. She was on my team there. We've been talking about this for 4 years, and it just ended up being the right time for her last month. And I'm so excited to be working with her. And then my last person has been a customer of mine for 2 or 3 years. And I talked to her about it right in the very beginning. Hey, you should do this. She didn't need it. Wasn't interested at all. And just a couple of weeks ago, she contacted me and said, hey, I would kind of like to make some extra money. So I'm telling you that to say that just keep planting those seeds and laying the groundwork, because when it's the right time for them, they're going to come back to you if you're still building that relationship with them, if you're still being consistent and showing up everywhere, in life that you can show up. All right. So the secret sauce for getting your customers over to brand partners, right? Everybody wants to know the secret sauce. There is a secret sauce. Isn't that good news? So you can get off here and actually get to work. Okay. So the first thing is building relationships. The great thing about this with your customers is you already have relationships with them, but sometimes we drop the ball. I know I do. I know I have. And so I have to kick myself in the rear sometimes and say, hey, you know what? I need to go back and I need to see what I'm offering my customers. Am I giving them, recipes? Am I encouraging them? Am I in their messages just saying happy birthday, or how are you today, or how can I help you? Continue to cultivate those relationships. And it doesn't have to always be about Xyngular. If you see it, they've just bought a cute puppy and added that to their family, message them, oh my gosh, what kind of dog do you have? That's so cute. I have a yellow lab, whatever. They have a grandbaby. Get on there. Oh my gosh, your grandbaby is, just adorable. I have a 10-month-old grandson. It's the best life ever. That's a way to just connect that has nothing to do with your business. But I promise you, you are planting seeds because they're seeing who you are as a person. They're seeing that you're real and you're genuine and that you're walking the talk. And that's another important thing, is to be genuine and to walk the talk that you're, putting out there. Also, you can't do this business cookie cutter. And I love boards, and yes, I use boards, but you really have to hone in. If you want to build a business with people, you really have to hone in on not being cookie cutter. And I'll tell you why in a few minutes, but it's just really important that you're not copying and pasting. It's really important that you're finding out who your customer is and what their need is in their life, and building that relationship and answering their questions. And so personal growth, this is something that if you're on here today, that's what you're doing, personal growth. Michael talked about that too, but listen to podcasts, read books, like something every single week. I'm not going to say I do it every single day, but something every single week to keep your fire going, to keep your wheels turning in your head, because you can only think so much out of in your own brain, right? So you need to build off of what other people are sharing. That's where I get most of my ideas. Like somebody will say something and it'll just resonate with me and click in my head. And I'm like, oh, I can do that. That feels like me. And then I can take it and put my own spin on it. Okay. So, and the third ingredient for the secret sauce is knowledge. So for things to change, you must change. And for things to be better, you must be better. And so you have to have knowledge to do that. You want to always keep learning new ideas, new perspectives. You want to learn how to relate to other people. And in this day and age in social media, you guys, I feel like we are the worst at connecting with people. We have the tool at our fingertips, but we just forgot how to like be real with people because of that copy and paste feature. We just want to like put it out there, but really take time to learn your customer, to build that relationship and get to know them. And then the fourth ingredient, this is the most important one, I saved it for last, is passion. If you are not passionate about what you're doing, I mean, honestly, you might as well really not even have the conversation. And I don't like mean to say that in any way, except that passion is contagious. And if you're not putting that out there, it comes off as you're not putting that out there. You have a vibe, you have a certain vibe about you, and you have to be passionate about something. Honestly, you guys, I'm going to talk a little bit about what I'm doing right now to jump in my customers' DMs, and just what I'm passionate about is this new trim stick launch. And I know that we're making a huge deal about the fact that it's sweetened with stevia now, and that is huge. That is a great clean ingredient, but I think we're missing what else this reformulation is bringing. And I don't want to get off topic too much, but we know that there's the pharmaceutical stuff going on out there in the weight loss world, that it's working for people. It's been a great, thing for people to lose weight, but it's also, I feel like it's taken away from our business and it's hurt our business a little bit, but we have the answers. And it's in our gut health, and it's in this new trim sticks, because what this new trim stick does is it targets insulin. Okay, I'm not going to go into all that. I have videos. Otherwise, I can share that with you. But that's what I'm passionate about. That's what I'm jumping in my customers. Oh my gosh, have you heard that we have a new reformulated trim stick? It's going to help balance your blood sugars. It's going to help balance your insulin levels. It's going to help control that response after you eat. And then I talk about gut health. And so it's getting me back in their boxes, and I'm excited and passionate. And they're like, oh my gosh, I want to try this. And I'm honestly not even getting an objection. I really expected to hear like, I don't know if I'm going to like that. I don't know. Because I'm so excited about it. They're not wondering if they're going to like the flavor of it. They're like, yeah, I want to try that. So one thing that I'm doing when I'm jumping in my customers, in my messages and my chats with my customers, is I'm telling them that they have the opportunity as a new brand partner with Xyngular this month to earn about $1,000. And so what I'm saying is, hey, Karen, I can help you put $1,000 in your pocket in the next 10 days by sharing Xyngular. Would you be willing to let me help you? And so many people are like, they want to hear more. And so that's actually how I just converted my customer over. And I'm working with her because I just said, hey, would $1,000, be helpful for you this month? So what that is, if you sell 13 of the 3-packs, 13 bundles of our 3-pack of the new trim sticks. I can't say that right. It's not coming out right. That plus your 120 point order, that is manager. And so for a new brand partner with the quick start bonuses, that is about $1,000 in their pocket. So that sounds simple. Like everybody knows 13 people that are drinking energy drinks, right? Everybody knows 13 people that would like to have energy, that would like to have a fat burner, that would like to boost their metabolism. I mean, this drink, this trim stick package is a standalone product that you can build a business around, literally. And I think if you're adding in gut health, it's really going to fall right in line with what these pharmaceuticals are doing, and we can help people maintain and manage their weight. Putting yourself in uncomfortable situations will grow you for the next time. So the first few times that you do this, guys, it's not going to be comfortable. And I'm telling you, because I know that I like put myself out there, and I've got the people that I'm like, oh, I'm scared to death to even, message her and reach out, but I've done it. Even if I don't think that they need it, even just like with my last girl, who, when I talked to her about this a couple of years ago, she was like, no, like my husband's got, good job. I don't really need money. I just, stay home. Like she did not have a need that I could meet, that I could find, that I could meet when I talked to her 2 years ago. But I still jumped in there and I was like, hey, would $1,000, this month help you guys out? Would you be interested in letting me help you? And she is now. So always go back, always follow up in that. Let me see. Oh, yes. And so Michael was talking about the social media part, which is perfect, because one thing that I want to talk about is when you're posting on social media, you're kind of casting a net, right? And you are showing them how this business or these products have helped you and changed your life. And it is kind of more about you, because you're painting that picture for people and you're just kind of casting that broad net out there. But when you're in your inbox with people, you are making that shift. It's not about you anymore. and yes, you're still sharing your story, like this is what Xyngular did for me, but it's not all about you. So at some point you have to stop and you have to start asking questions and listen to what you're hearing. If you don't find their need or their why or their pain point that this is going to help, you don't know how to lead the conversation, right? All you know is still just to go back and talk about you and what Xyngular's done for you. And it's really hard to close the sale if you're just answering your own questions. Does that make sense? So you've got to ask the questions, you've got to find out what their why is, how this would help them. And I don't have time to go into all of this today, but you really need to study. And if you want to do some personal growth, if you're wondering, like, where do I even start with that? Start at learning personalities, because this will change your business for you. So basically, you can do this business one of two ways. It's a numbers game, but it's also a skills game. And the more skills you have, the less numbers you need. Okay, does that make sense? Like, you have to talk to like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people. If you have zero skill, you'll pick up customers and you'll pick up business partners. But as you grow your skill and you grow your knowledge of how to do things and what works for you and how to make it you, then the more people you talk to, the more you're converting to yeses and the more you're successful in those conversations. So the very first thing I would recommend that you do is learn personalities. You can choose, I know there's the Enneagram and there's all kinds of things out there. What I learned almost 30 years ago was the DISC personality, and I don't have time to get into it, but I'm just going to give you a little blurb. When you are talking to people, you can learn off the bat in the first like 30 seconds to 1 minute what their dominant personality. Everybody's got a little bit of all of those personalities, right? But they have a dominant personality. When you're talking with the customer and you're talking with someone that has a D personality, that's a really outgoing leader personality. They are going to want to know about the money and they are going to want to know what's in it for me. Okay, so if you can hone in on that personality, then you can gear your conversation towards them, and that's going to resonate with them. If you're talking to an I personality, which is I'm pretty high I, that is all about the fun. They are going to want to know about the conferences. They're going to want to know about the community. They're going to want to know about the trips that they can earn, the parties they can have, and it's just all about fun. If you're talking to somebody who is an S personality, that is more of a family-oriented person, that is more loyal, just sometimes they're a little bit quieter. They are going to want to know how this can help their family. They are going to want to know how this can help others. They are going to want to know how this is not about them and how it's about everyone else in their life, which is like the complete opposite of the D personality, right? So you can see how that would be very important when you're talking to your customers or you're talking to prospects, that you know what their personality is. And then the C, when you're talking to them, that person's just going to be more analytical. They're going to want to see the comp plan. They're going to want to see, all the graphs and all the charts and all of the ingredients that are in the products. And you're going to have to be a little more nitty gritty with them. Okay. But that's the first thing that I would recommend when you get off of this week and you're looking for things to grow yourself, to grow your knowledge, is to learn personalities. Pick whatever you want to learn. I think the Enneagram is too complicated. I just think there's way too many facets of that to learn. So I really would just recommend sticking with the DISC personality. You can Google it and find all kinds of things on it. And maybe somebody that's smarter than I am can do training on that sometime too. But that will also not just help you in your Xyngular business. That will help you in your marriage. That will help you with your kids, with motivating them of how to get their chores done, how to get their homework done, conflict resolution. There's a lot of good stuff for that. So it's definitely worth checking in. And I think that I'm up on my time. So I'm just making sure that there isn't anything else. So the secret sauce ingredients was building relationships, which you've already got a foundation with your customers, knowledge, personal growth, and passion. And again, I can't reiterate enough, passion. Find something you are passionate about. The new Trim Sticks product, the Tummy Tamer bundle, weight loss, all wrapped around the business part of this, because that's what's going to skyrocket your business, right? Is being passionate about that. So anyway, I think that's it. And I'm going to turn this back over to Christy. Thanks, Christy.
Oh my gosh, Jamie, I love it. Great points. So much good information. I know we are totally getting overloaded here, you guys, but that's what this is about. You guys are here working on yourselves, and that was amazing. One challenge I want to give you guys, how she talked about moving your customers to partners. Choose 3, at least 3, or go to 5, whatever you want. Pick a number of any of your customers, and I want you to reach out to them this weekend. And I want you to use some of the stuff Jamie just taught us about that. Talking to your customers, the ones that love the products, the ones that reorder, the ones that you're scared to talk to about this. know I have some that I've just been like, oh, they've been customers for 13 years. Why would they ever want to do what I do? And I've never approached them about that. So, we need to do it afraid, and we just need to get the word out about what would $1,000 do for you in the next 10 days. Let me help you get your orders paid for, because if they love the products that much, they've told someone about it, or they've told someone how they're losing weight or why they have more energy, but they just have no idea the possibilities that we have with this. So I want to challenge you guys to reach out to at least 3 of your customers and talk to them about the opportunity. How many of you guys, drop it in the comments, how many of you guys seriously have customers that you've been scared to talk to about the opportunity because you just don't want to go there? Like I said, I totally do. So let's do that this weekend. All right. Thanks again, Jamie. Next up, you guys be ready for this. Cora Hoffman is a silver executive, and she's going to be talking about the 333 and ATM. Going to be a lot of information. She is a firecracker with a ton of energy. So Cora, I'm going to turn it over to you. Are you there, Cora? Oh, you're muted. Melissa? Oh, there we go. Okay.
Got it. Oh my gosh.
There you go.
All right, you guys, are you excited? This is like literally like, I feel like somebody's standing at my office window with a fire hose, just with it on full blast. This is just, I'm like trying to take notes and trying to not be nervous about being on here to talk to you guys. So anyways, I am just super excited. Let me get my notes ready, because I always have notes, because I always forget what I'm about to say. Anyways, thank you so much for hopping on here. You know what? Congratulations to each and every one of you, because let me tell you something. When you start coming to things like this every single time they're thrown out there for free, I promise you, you do that, and then you implement the things, you can go anywhere with this business. I promise you. It's exactly what I did. I couldn't get enough of Xyngular. I was so excited, and I just couldn't stop showing up to everything. So congratulations on showing up, you guys. So we're going to talk about, I'm going to try not to get off subject, because gosh, I could say so many things right now, but I'm not. I'm going to stay right on subject. And we're talking about the 333 and the ATM. And just a little backstory I want to tell you really fast. When I came back from Cabo in January, I had one unique account. I think I had 10 points. And when I implemented what I'm about to tell you, finally, I earned Founders Club 3 months later. How does that sound? If you guys are not basing your business on Founders Club qualifications, start today, because you guys can totally do this. We have plenty of time. So what is, so it's all about being real. Okay. And how about this? No more spamming. Hello. I hated being a spammer. I was a professional spammer when I first started. I think most of us were. And you know what? This is going to turn you into a human being, which is so stinking awesome. I'm sure you're excited about. So I want to remind you too that people know when you're spamming. They just do. I always know when someone spams me. Number one, I know because they're not using my name. They're not using my name in Facebook Messenger or a text message. It's just a spam message that they're spamming you with, right? So think about that when you're reaching out to people. Always use their name every single time. So what we're about to talk about though is the 333. So number one, step one, get your notebook out and your pen, because you got to go to the Dollar Tree today if you don't have one already, and get you a notebook, good old fashioned notebook, and a good old fashioned pen. It's pretty this is like technology at its best, because this is going to be your follow-up book. You got to have a follow-up book in order to do the 333. People are going to say, well, can you do it with Teamzy? Absolutely. But I'm going to tell you right now, honest to goodness, you're going to have so many leads that you're not going to be able to keep up. I've tried, and maybe you're better at it with Trello. I've never tried Trello, but Teamzy, whatever, that's cool if you want to do it like that. But the easiest way that I have found is with a pen and paper and just keep track of your people that you're about to be 333ing and following up with. So what is a 333? It's super easy. And I don't use that word often. It's easy. It's a simple system, but it is work. Okay. So what are you going to be doing? It's simple. All you're going to be doing is you're going to scroll through your news feed. You're going to come up and you're going to see somebody that maybe strikes your interest. And let me warn you, you're going to get real picky about who you're going to 333 to. It's the funniest thing. However, what you're going to do is you're going to scroll through, and when you come across somebody that you're like, oh, I like her dog. I'm just using that as an example. I'm a dog fan. Oh, I like her dog. So what am I going to do? I'm going to like and comment on that dog picture. I'm going to like and comment on that dog picture. Then I'm going to click on her name, and I'm going to go to her wall, and I'm going to like and love on, like and comment on 2 more of her posts. So that's your first 3. So you're going to like, love, and comment on 3 of her posts, or him, either way. Then you're going to go to her stories, and you are going to love and comment on 3 of her stories, just to piggyback on what Michael Stoller said, because the reason that you're commenting on somebody's story is because it brings you to the messenger. The magic happens in the messenger chat every single time. You're going to do this 3 days in a row. And then you're going to rip the Band-Aid off at the end, and you're going to invite her to take a look at what you've got to offer. So, and you're going to say something. You're going to say something like, "Hey, Christy, I have been following you for the last few days. Just wondering, are you open to hearing how you could be making money with all the amazing things that you post? If not, totally cool, but I would kick myself if I didn't ask you." Right? So you're going to push her up against the wall, and then you're going to let her off for a hot second, and you're going to let them talk. So when they say yes, because most of them do, it's going to blow your mind. Some don't, but whatever. So when they say yes, then you're going to ATM them, which is what I'm going to bring you to, because I could talk about this for 3 hours, but we're not going to. So you're going to 333 them. So you're going to, let me go over this again, because it's hard to explain sometimes. So you're going to love and comment on 3 posts on somebody's wall. You're going to go to their stories. You're going to love and comment on 3 of their stories. If they have stories, not everybody has stories. Don't get hung up on that. And you're going to do this for 3 days in a row. So what is this doing? This is, if I was messaging Christy Van Dam and she was a complete stranger on social media, well, really, she's not, because we're friends, right? Hopefully I've been blowing it up and she's seen my crazy reels about menopause, and she probably knows, oh my gosh, this girl, yeah, I've been wanting to talk to her, right? So, it makes you look normal. I use a lot of voice clips with this too, like especially when I'm responding to somebody's stories. I will go right in there and I will say, oh my gosh, your dog is so cute. What kind of dog is that, right? Oh my gosh, congratulations. You just had a grandbaby, right? So what you're doing is you're forming a relationship. She's already more than likely seen you on her post. If you do the math, I don't know. I think the math is like, if you do the 333, 3 days in a row completely, I think she's seen you now 18 to 27 times. I don't remember the number, add it up. So, but you see the point. So Christy's now seen me for up to 27 times in the last 3 days. So when I finally rip the Band-Aid off and ask her to take a look, she's more than likely going to say yes, right? So Christy says yes. What am I going to do? Well, I'm going to ATM her. ATM is just a system, you guys. Add, tag, message. So when Christy says yes, I want to know, of course, I'm going way off my notes, but whatever. So when Christy says yes, I'm going to ATM her. Okay. So what does that mean? I'm going to add her immediately to my business page. I'm going to add her immediately to my testimonial group, both places. And I'm going to say to her, hey girl, okay, awesome. I just added you to 2 of my private groups. They're really cool. Let me know once you're in there. And I'm going to tag you. And I'm going to tag you in a couple of videos. I'm going to tell you everything. Christy sends me the thumbs up. So I'm going to tag her in the welcome video in both of my groups. And then I'm going to I'm going to say to her, okay, cool. You're in. I just tagged you in a welcome video. And yes, you're asking about voice clips. Everything that I'm telling you is in my boards, but everything that I do is a voice clip. Hence the reason I literally have no voice. Like literally, I have no voice. Anyways, so I'm going to say to her, okay, I just tagged you in those videos. Tomorrow, I am going to set you up in a group chat and introduce you to some business builders on my team. I can't wait for you to hear their stories. Boom, boom, boom. Okay. I don't go back and say in the morning. Okay, so in the morning, so here's my, I've 333 and I ate and I'm on the T because I just tagged her and messaged. I'm sure actually I'm on the ATM. I'm on the M. So I'm not going to say in the morning, I'm not going to waste time going, hey, Christy, did you watch that video? Because you guys all know we're busy. Most of the time, Christy, and they're not watching the video. But let me tell you what they're going to do. When you throw them in a group chat and you introduce Christy, like I would say, what I would do is I would add her to a chat, a private chat with my upline. And I do 4. You can do 3 if you want, but why would you not do 4? 4 amazing people in this company on your team. I recommend business builders on your team because they're going to edify the crap out of you. What better way to show somebody brand new that's not even in the business yet that you're an amazing leader by not saying one word? Your team is going to edify you in that sense or whatever. So I'm going to add her to a chat in the morning. I'm not going to ask her if she's watched the video. I'm going to say in a really quick 45 second voice clip, I'm going to introduce her. I'm going to introduce my team and they're going to do the talking. Then I'm going to come back after everybody shares their stories, their business stories. And I'm going to say to her, hey, Christy, what did you love most about what you just heard? And Christy's going to tell me all her objections right then and there. I can't afford it. How much is it? I don't have time. I don't know if I can do this, whatever. Or she's going to say, oh my gosh, holy cow. I have been waiting for something like this in my life. I need this positivity in my world. And which is what most people say. And then you guys know what to do from there. You sign them up left and right. So that's the ATM. It's add, tag, message. Okay. Let's see if I forgot anything. Okay. So, and I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. I don't even know how much time I have left, but I'm going to wrap it up with, I want to tell you guys one of the things that I wish I would have known in the very, 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 very beginning. I'm a people person and, like in the beginning, like you don't realize that everybody isn't for you. That's like, I have done a complete 180 shift over the last year, figuring this whole thing out and whatnot. But, one of the things that I finally realized was I'm not for everybody and everybody is not for me. And when you figure out who the heck you're talking to and who your tribe is, I promise you, this gets so much easier. Like Michael touched on it for a hot second about 20-year-olds, 30-year-olds. Listen, I'll take anybody of any age, any time, but when you start talking and using your social media to talk to the people that you're in your niche, that's in your niche, the 333 and the ATMing, it literally is like, it just becomes so much easier. It's easier to talk to these people and you'll have an easier conversion rate, a quicker conversion rate of signing them up. So I'm going to give you a challenge before I go. I want you guys to go and I want you to 333 5 people that have ghosted you in your chats. I'm going to tell you right now, if you go start loving on their posts, liking on their posts, loving on their stories and you are going to get signups. I promise you, you will. I did it the other day when I was actually doing a power hour Zoom. This girl had ghosted me. Want an next advance. And all I did was I said, oh my gosh, I went on her stories. I went on her wall. I loved and commented on her post. She literally signed up. Whoever was in that Zoom, you know what I'm talking about. She signed up during the Zoom because I just was back in her orbit. Right. And I'm not being weird. Like, hey, are you ready to order? It's just, anyways. Okay. Like I said, I could go on for 99 years about this. Okay. Number 2, go ATM 5 customers that you currently have having success about the business. If they're having success with the weight loss stuff. If they're having success, why are you not asking them to join you? Duh, you got to ATM them, get them involved, tag them, add them, tag them, and set them up in a chat. All right, that's all I have for you today. I think I did it. I think I made
Laura,
it.
you did awesome. Oh my gosh, so much information. Hey, I was asked if you could share some of your rip off the Band-Aid messages.
Yeah, I'll put them in the chat. Yes.
Okay, that totally works. Thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
all of that information. Oh my gosh, I have so many notes already. All right, next up, you guys, we have a few more speakers today, but next up is Platinum Executive Melissa Corvin. And I think we all need this, like we haven't needed everything that was said already, but Melissa Corvin is going to talk about time management and the value of an hour. So I hope you guys are all ready for this. Melissa, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Well, good morning, everybody. Oh my gosh, this has been such a fantastic training. Let me tell you, if you are new, you've got to make sure that you go back, take notes, and that you implement this stuff right away. And even if you're not new and you're really just wanting to get your business kickstarted again, this has been so great. And I have loved learning from everybody. But I'm going to talk to you guys, just like Christy Van Dam said, about the value of an hour and time, using time wisely. And I will tell you, I kind of wondered why they first initially asked me to do this, because you guys, I am so busy, and I have been busy. My husband owns a multi-million-dollar business. Of course, I've built my Xyngular business to be a multi-million-dollar business. We have 2 children. We have over 20 horses. We have dogs, cats, chickens. My in-laws live next door, and they're aging, and I take care of them. Like, it is crazy in my life. But I have learned that putting your Xyngular business on and using your time wisely is so important. And when you will dedicate that consistently, you will be able to truly accomplish and build the business of your dreams. So I want to go over some information, and I will tell you, Rudy Reback, who is our chairman of the board and one of our founders with our company, spoke on time management last weekend at the Xyngular Leadership Conference. And I took so many different notes, because what he said truly is important. And I want you guys to get out your pen and paper, especially if you are not at XLC, because you're going to want to write this stuff down and implement it into your life. So the first one thing I wanted to ask you, okay, if you had $1,440 every single day, you had $1,440 every day, and you had to spend it, but you were only given 24 hours that day, could you spend it? Right? And what would you spend it on? Type that over in the chat. If you had $1,440 a day, could you spend that in 24 hours? And what would you spend it on? And how is it that someone we all have 24 hours in a day, right? Now, I don't have different hours in a day than Heather does or than Bambi does. We all only are given 24 hours a day. So how is it that within that 24 hours a day, you have one guy over here that can work and maybe earn an hourly rate of like $10 an hour, but then you have someone over here who is earning $1,440 a day or $1 million in that same 24 hours? It all comes down to using your time wisely. And so I'm going to give all this credit to Rudy, but Rudy talked about that there are really 3 ways that we make money. Okay. We make money with production. We go out and we produce a product. Okay. And these are Rudy's notes. I took this from XLC, but we go out and produce a product, and you get money for what you produce. Sometimes people trade hours for dollars here, things like that. Then secondly, you get money for investing. You can go out and you can invest. You can find something to invest into, or you invest into things like the stock market and stuff. But generally, when you do something where you have to invest, you have to put so much money into it up front to ever earn anything, or you just have to be investing consistently all the time, right? Then thirdly, we get money by duplication. And when it comes to duplication in network marketing, what makes our business model so fantastic is that you can duplicate with just helping other people learn and leverage their time and resources by them using the product and them sharing something else. So it was explained to me like this when I first started, and this is why I was so committed to finding business partners when I first started with Xyngular, and I laid that foundation up front, is because I can go out, I can work really hard. I have 24 hours in a day, But when I go out and I teach someone else to do that too, the same thing, and it doesn't cost thousands of dollars for them to buy into a franchise or for them to invest, right? They're using something and I teach them to do exactly what I did. I've now duplicated that they're doing the exact same work on the exact same hour that I am. You turn around and you teach another person, they're doing it too. Teach another person, they're doing it too. So when you have that power of duplication, you can make so much more money. And that's a great way for you to use your time. And so the other eye opener that Rudy shared, and I think is so important when you're getting started in a business like this, and when you are really trying to either rebuild or get your engine going again. And that's why I love what Cora just finished talking about with the 333 is that you need to be spending at least 80% of your time working with finding and recruiting new business. And let me tell you, Rudy Reback is a multi-million-dollar earner himself. He has gone out and built network marketing businesses. You guys, he not only is an owner of our company, he owns multiple network marketing companies. He also has built companies and built network marketing businesses in the United States, in Germany, in the Asian countries, and Canada. He knows all these different areas to build businesses. And he said you should spend 80% of your time on recruiting new business. So if you think about it, you're coming into this business and maybe this is a side hustle for you. Maybe this is a time for you to just kind of make some extra money, or maybe I saw some people put over there in the chat, they're working towards tuition. So maybe you have a dollar amount in mind. You're like, okay, I've got to spend I need $40,000 to make this tuition payment or whatever it is. You also have to dedicate some time. And so if you are saying, I'm going to work my Xyngular business on the side because I already have a full-time job and kids and family and another business or whatever it is, just like I do, and you say, I'm going to do this, then let's say you set aside 10 hours, okay, a week to work your Xyngular business. Do you realize 8 of those hours should be prospecting and recruiting new people to look at your business? Okay. That's it. Then you have 19. This is what Rudy suggested, is that you spend 19% of your time on trainings. Okay. And this could be trainings where you're training your new people that are joining you, whether they're customers or product users or business partners. What you're also spending time training yourself. Okay. And this is a great training. That's why I love this condensed training that we're getting with Super Saturday, you guys. This is a 3-hour training. And so if you're dedicating 10 hours this week to your business, well, now you're spending 3 of it. Okay, you're going to have to make that time up somewhere to get that in there. Okay, so maybe this week, because you're on this training and you're really learning this, next week you need to put in 15 hours. Okay, but that's the beauty of a business like this, is that you can figure out those times to put it in, and you can figure out that time where you can make up the difference, because we are in business for ourselves. The great news is we're not in business by ourselves, right? But you've got to make sure that you're only spending about 19% of your time training others and training yourself. And so if you look at your calendar and you have that 10 hours of the week and you're spending your 8 hours prospecting, okay, that only leaves you 2 hours left to go to trainings. So what trainings are you going to plug into? What's most important? I always encourage you that if you're really wanting to get your Xyngular business off the ground, that you need to make sure that you're plugging into the Xyngular development community, our XDC, okay? So if you're not on XDC, go find it through, we have a great Facebook community. And we have also an Instagram that you can follow for Xyngular, but our Facebook community is a great place for you to develop XDC. Okay. They have trainings in there. They push them live, and you need to be on those. Okay. Secondarily, you probably have a upline that has trainings. And so if they have a training that you can go plug into, usually those trainings are 30 minutes a week. Make sure you're on it. Be as on it and be live. Have your video on. Try to participate live. You will always learn more when you're participating live, and you can ask questions, take notes, than if you go back and watch the recordings. Okay. So that's, so maybe you're on the Xyngular leadership or development community, then you're on the, your training. Well, there's an hour and a half, you guys. Okay. So out of your 10 hours a week, that only leaves you 30 minutes left to go and do things. And that's where I love what Rudy shared, as he shared the last 1% of your time, you only worry about problems. Okay. So you go, you, just because you're a leader, just because you take, you have a team doesn't mean that you're not going to have problems. But guess what? A lot of problems can be solved by you going out and finding new prospects, because that person that's over there that's complaining and wasting your time, that's telling you, you know, that they aren't able that they counted all of their the pills in their Zing, and there was only 59, and they ordered 12 bottles, but there was one bottle that had 59 pills instead of 60. That they're wasting your time. Guess what? There's a customer service number for that, and it's okay for you to move forward, because there is no problem that can't be solved by a new person being able to come in and join this business with us. And so that's why it's so important. So let's go back to that. 80% of your time is spent on prospecting. I will tell you, I built most of my business through face-to-face interactions. Now, did I use social media? Did I put my branding out there? Did I post and thousands of people see it at a time? Did I love the leverage of that? Yes. That skyrocketed my business. I had done some other network marketing businesses before and other companies, and spent lots of time knocking on doors, sitting down with people. And I never have had the success that I had with Xyngular, because we teach you how to leverage your time and resources through social media, but then we also teach you the information you need to go out and prospect and tell people in person. And what's so great is because they see your results from our amazing products, and they see that you're putting it out there consistently by using a resource like social media, they will ask you about it if you're open to it, right? And so that's what I did. Is I spent so much of my time. The first thing I tell you to do if you're a brand new person is you need to go out there and write down at least 100 names of people that you think would like the product or the business, and write a P by their name if they think they would like the product, a B for the business. You've already heard from Cora how you will talk to them about the business using 333, but you've got to still make the relationship person to person. So let's say one of their prospects that you would love to have in your business goes with you to church. Okay. And you see them every week at Sunday school or at church or whatever, and you're wanting them to be on your business, but you don't really know what to say to them in person. Well, first, be friendly. Okay. Second, make sure you're using the 333 with them, because guess what? They're going to see your posts. They're going to see your information. They're going to see that you're liking and loving their stories. And more than likely, they will come and ask you. If they don't ask you, it's okay for you to have a conversation with them about it too. But that's what you've got to spend your time out, is out prospecting. If you haven't been out and about, and maybe you're not involved in some social circles right now, think about some other areas. There's a great memory jogger that we have in our XBO or Xyngular back office. Also, your upline or your person that sponsored you into this may have something that you can use to go back and think about who are the people that you do business with, who are the people that you already like, know, and trust. Because if you talk to them, maybe your dry cleaner all the time, you go in there, or maybe the person at the grocery store, you always see the same checker, or maybe it's the chiropractor, because you and your family all go get chiropractic work every single week. Those are the people that you can talk to about Xyngular, that you can visit with about this. And I will tell you that when you're consistent about showing up for yourself, and you're getting that list full of prospects, then you will be able to move your business forward. And so it's important that you take time out. Now, the other thing, and I don't have a whole lot time left, but it's so important, and I really encourage you to do this. I use a Google Calendar for most of my business, and on my Google Calendar, I put everything in there, everything, all of my family things. I actually color coordinate things, and I have all of my reminders of things to do. Okay. And it's important that you put every single thing that you're doing into a calendar, so you can write it down, because you've got to see those times and pockets. Rudy talked about that you need to have a month at a glance calendar. Okay. Where you can see your whole month. So then that way you can fill in where you can have your parties and events, like Cheyenne talked about. He talked about, you've got to have a daily planner where you can see your days, where you can have time where you take that hour of your day out and you spend that doing your 333s. Okay. You spend that actually doing that. Now, if you're spending that 10 hours a week and you're doing 8 of those hours, that's 1 hour doing a 333 or 1 hour prospecting, that you're actually out and about talking to people. And then you also want to take a look at your year. Okay. And the things, of course, that would go in there for your Xyngular trainings for the year would be those events that Stacy talked about from the beginning that you would start to kind of budget for, our Zing Fest and our Zing Fling. Okay. So those are important for you to make sure that you're doing. But the thing with Xyngular is we want you to make sure that you're putting your life down, because the most important thing is having God first, then your family, and then Xyngular. But if you don't have it written down, and you don't know where those hours of pockets of time that you can put back into your business are, you will not be able to move forward and reach those goals that you've set for yourself. So I encourage you guys, don't have any excuses. Everybody's busy out there. That's usually a smoke screen for I don't want to take the time right now. So just look at your calendar, get it down, and spend your time bringing on new people. We are going to see huge explosion because of all the things that you're going to implement from today's training. So thank you so much, Christy, for having me on.
Oh, Melissa, that was amazing. Thank you so much. And I heard something over and over and over again as she was talking about that, and it's not something she said, but it's something that I've seen in the past that just says, you know what, it's not that you don't have time, it's that it's not a priority. So we prioritize everything in our lives that is important to us. You know, doctor's appointments. We even prioritize vacations over our business. We prioritize everything for our kids, sports games, you know, planes to catch, whatever it may be. We prioritize that stuff. We have got to treat our business the same way. We've got to put that on your calendars, one of the first things on there. So thank you so much, Melissa. You guys, next up, and we only have a few more left, but we're going to talk to Gold Executive Maddie Walsh, and she's going to talk about something else we all need, keeping it simple. So Maddie, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to you.
Okay, thank you, Christy. Today has been so amazing. So I just first want to say thank you to everything that all the leaders who have shared today have prepared. I have so many great notes. So I'm so nervous for some reason too. I don't remember the last time I was nervous on a training, but I want to start by taking you guys back to February of 2020. I was 3 years into my Xyngular business, and I was sitting in a conference room in Wichita, Kansas at a regional training, feeling more discouraged than ever about my business, and honestly in disbelief that my Xyngular dream was ever actually going to happen to me. When I walked in that room, I was a director hitting silver manager, making less than $1,000 a month. I was embarrassed about where I was. And honestly, it was one of the last places that I wanted to be, but the one somewhat active distributor that I had on my team wanted to go. So I went. But little did I know that day, a nugget was going to be planted in my mind from Jana Bullard that was going to completely change my business and my life forever. So I'm not here today to give you the same training that Jana gave me, February of 2020. I'm here to make a point about something that clicked in my head that day in that room for the first time in 3 years that I had been trying to build a business with Xyngular that changed everything for me. So as some of you guys know, what ended up happening 3 months after leaving that room that day in Wichita is insane. 3 months after I walked out of that room, my business grew from silver manager to over 436,000 in volume. I grew from silver manager to gold executive, almost platinum, in a matter of 3 months. And so while we know that some of that growth had to do with COVID and stimulus checks and all the state of the world, some of it had to do with that, yes. But was that everything to do with it? Absolutely not, you guys. I had one somewhat active distributor on my team and was not even hitting gold manager. So what I was about to realize and experience the magic of is that the number one, I think, most important job that we have as mentors in this business is to teach and then master, because you have to teach to become a master, duplication. And this is what Jana was talking about that day. Because if you can learn how to master the art, I call it the art of duplication. I think it is an art. If you can master the art of duplication in a business model like we have, you just heard Melissa. I mean, I've heard duplication come up a lot, but you just heard Melissa talk about why that's so powerful. Because if you can learn how to master that, you becoming a millionaire and having a life of freedom and choices is inevitable with a business opportunity and model like we've got. So today, what I want to talk about with all of you guys is that light bulb that went off in my head that day and the action that I took when I left that room. So at the end of Jana's training, I realized a lot of things, but the big light bulb that went off was the only difference between somebody who was making $100 in their Xyngular business and somebody who was making $100,000 a month in their Xyngular business was duplication. And that I very clearly had little going on for me. So Ray Kroc, I think he's going to go down as the GOAT of duplication because he understood and famously quoted, I would rather have 1% of 100 people's efforts than 100% of my own. So in other words, it doesn't matter what only you can do as much as it matters what you can get others to duplicate. So if you think about a McDonald's franchise, when someone opens one, first, it comes with a huge price tag. So it's going to cost people anywhere from $500,000 to $2.5 million just to start a McDonald's franchise. But the reason that the cost can be so great is because people know that from there, they just plug into the simple system that's already in place that can guarantee their success and obviously make more than that investment. So you guys, McDonald's food is good to some people, but our products are a million times better. The idea should be the same. So now obviously the duplication in the fast food industry looks different than duplication here, but the outcome is the same for the people who have the concept and the application of that concept figured out. So the day I left that day thinking about the way I was going to build my business and actually become successful in an entirely new way. For something to truly be duplicatable, it has to be simple. I've heard this, and if you've been around for any amount of time, you probably heard this too. So simple that a kindergartner could teach a kindergartner. The other thing that you need for something to be duplicatable is there has to be a system in place that is easy to follow. So I started to think about and dissect things I was going to be doing differently in two areas of my business. The first, educating somebody enough to get them started. So my initial onboarding, or at the time, lack thereof system. What I was currently doing was overwhelming. It was confusing, and and it looked different with every single person that I was having a conversation with about Xyngular. What we have to realize, and the scary thing that was brought to my attention that day in Wichita, was that good or bad, it duplicates. And that their training actually started the moment you caught their attention. Their training started the moment that you caught their attention. So as you're getting someone info, could they turn around and do what you did with them to somebody else? Because at the time, hell no. I mean, what I was doing was just kind of a mess. So what I did was I realized that I had to create something that I could give my team, but first that I had to do. So I created, you guys might know, now we have boards. We had a Google form that we use to help people navigate these conversations, starting from the moment somebody was interested in information to when they were ready to get started. Here's another thing that Jana said that day that really, really made a light bulb go off in my head. She was like, you know, you have to offer the whole buffet. Don't pick what somebody's going to eat. Offer the whole buffet. Let them choose. So I was skipping a lot of steps also too, whenever I was getting someone information or getting them started. I wasn't offering or telling them about brand partner. And I also wasn't offering add-ons. So I created something that I could use that gave me confidence that I could take from somebody, from any question that they had, or however the conversation started, I could navigate it into this chat flow of information that I knew was like the bare minimum, not too much, but not too little amount of information that they needed in order to get started. So now, things have obviously changed, and authenticity is power. And while you definitely do have to use your own voice, having a system helps and is necessary for duplication. So I'm going to ask again, could somebody turn around and do what you are doing? So the second area I started to pick apart was the experience and system I had to not only coach people to success on the products, but convert those customers into quick starts. So the really cool thing is you guys have heard so many great things today about what leaders are doing to do these things. And there's not one right way, okay? But you do have to find a way that works for you. So after you get someone started, how are you supporting them? Are you taking advantage of the success they're getting on the products and encouraging them to share every time they share exciting news with you? If you guys have heard Jana Bullard's story, her coach encouraged her to share multiple times of her saying no. Anytime that Jana had exciting news, her coach encouraged her to share. And eventually she did, but she didn't the first time. So are you encouraging people to share? And I'm going to tell you what the $1 million question was that my team used to get people to share. We would say, oh my gosh, did you know you're eligible for a $200 bonus? Would it be okay if I helped you snag that? And I actually got that from Holly Parrish 3 years ago. That's what she was asking. You're eligible for this bonus. Would it be okay if I helped you snag it? So when I left that day with little to show or leverage in my business, I knew the change had to start with me. So if you are in a place where you're feeling discouraged or down or questioning if this is ever going to happen for you or how it's going to happen, know that the change has to start with you. It had to start with me. And the systems and processes I wanted duplicating with every single new conversation and person I got started from that point forward. I wasn't looking back. I decided I was done feeling bad about, how many times I had built a business and then watched it crumble. All that mattered was the next conversation that I was getting into about Xyngular and how I was going to take care of them and how I was going to onboard them and bring them onto Xyngular, because that was going to duplicate everything that I did with them. So my goal today is basically just to challenge the way that you think about simplicity and duplication in your business. Do you have a system you teach and follow that is so simple that a kindergartner could teach a kindergartner? If your answer is yes, which we've heard some great ones today, and it's working, keep doing it. Keep cranking it out. I love what Michael Stoller said. The person in the most conversation wins. This is a numbers game. Whoever's having the most conversations is going to win. If your answer is no, I want to tell you that it really, 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 truly is worth the time to sit down and figure out what that needs to look like for you, your team, and the business you want to grow and sustain here. The last thing that I want to say is I didn't just leave that training with a book full of notes. I'm sure some of you guys have pages full of notes from this awesome training. I took something that was a huge light bulb moment for me, and I went and I implemented it. So, and not just one time, not 2 times, not 3 times. It was a process for me. I decided every single person that I talked to, I am going to take them through this system. And then, what happened in the course of 3 months. I mean, that really is the power of what simplicity and a duplication model can do in this type of business. So, Christy, I will turn it back over to you. You guys have an amazing Saturday. We've got a couple more speakers and love you guys.
Oh, Maddie, thank you so much. And I love everything you said. Keeping it simple is so important because a lot of us, I'll speak for myself, tend to complicate things sometimes. And so keeping it simple will help you grow your business even faster. So you guys, our next speaker is a Gold Ambassador, Robin Packard, and she's also the I Am Xyngular Award winner for this year. Incredible. Everybody knows her. She doesn't even really need an introduction, but Robin is going to talk to us about something she does so well, casting the vision to new partners. So Robin, I'm going to turn it to you.
Hey guys, thanks for having me. This has been an awesome training so far. I'm so excited about this. So I'm going to talk about casting the vision. I definitely in the last year have done some things differently. From the day we launched our new Founders Club, I decided, I'm going to run at this a different way and a lot harder than I have in the past, just to see if I could, what I could do. I think I have 24 unique accounts now, and working on more all the time. But what I decided was, I wasn't building the big picture for people. I wasn't laying out a plan of action for people. I kind of lost that as the years had went by. So I immediately thought, I've got to set the tone of these teams. I've got to set the urgency. I've got to set the speed at how fast these people will work. We had too many people coming in and just kind of lollygagging and then falling off, and then it's like, oh, it didn't work for me. When no, you never really worked for it, So I decided to be a lot more aggressive. I loved what England said, which I was doing this, but doing it in a different way. In Florida, they talked about when they were talking to their brand new people, they would say, I have 4 ways that we can work together. One is going to be you're a product user. That's great. If that's what you came for. The second is you're going to be an affiliate, get your affiliate link. The third is you're going to be a brand partner, and this will be like a side gig for you. And then the fourth is we're going to work together full time. I love that because that is how I talk to people, not quite in that format, but I'm going to clean it up to that because I think it's important to know what people are looking for. I can't push a person to be a gold ambassador that just wants to call 2 friends. I can't do that. And I'm not going to waste my time and I'm not going to waste their time doing that. So when people come in right off, I say, what are you looking for? Let's kind of first, before we start anything, let's lay out a little roadmap. And my perspective is, hey, I want someone to come in and hit executive in 6 months. That's what I want. I've seen a lot of people do it. I've had team do it. When I went from director to executive in 3 months when I just flipped the switch and started changing everything I was doing. So I like to get some kind of vision from them and then start laying out a plan of action. And my plan of action is a lot the same, probably as a lot of you, but right off the bat, I'm like, okay, we're going to post. That's our calling card to the world. We're telling the world we're open for business and we work with Xyngular. We want to work with you. And I'll say every time, my first Xyngular post was not a smashing success. I had 4 likes and 5 comments, but I had 20 people come to that meeting and I hit manager that night. So I say, we're going to post. The post is just like the cake. The icing on the cake is, okay, we're going to start contacting people. We're going to pick up the phone and we're going to start with the 5 people in the world that you're most comfortable with talking to. And those are the people that we're going to say, hey, I don't know if you saw my post, Madison, but I'm so excited. I've joined a health and wellness company. We have a huge opportunity here for income. We have all the health and wellness products that you would need. I would love for you to support me by taking a look and giving me some feedback. If anything else, I need to practice. That's it. The brand new person just needs to pick 5 people and say, would you support me and let me practice on you? And what happens is, as that person does this with their people, they gain more and more confidence. Like the worst thing you can do. So I'm also very clear too, is say, okay, there is an order of communication that makes you successful in this business. There is. Face-to-face is always, you're never going to top that. Calls or video conference like we're doing now, those are great. Then if you have to go down, text and voice clips. And then when you get clear down, this is what I call the kiss of death. And I know a lot of people like to work in Messenger and DMs. I don't. I don't, because what happens is when I get a brand new girl and I start sending her start sending her into people's messenger and DMs, she's getting ghosted. She's getting either like very little response, not much. So what happens to that person? Her confidence, she's brand new, she's excited, she wants to join this company, and then her confidence goes down, 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 down. So I say, let's call these people or video chat these people, whatever it takes so we can get some face to face. And I am the driest person in the planet. I'm that person that you want to like literally flip the bird because if you text me 3 paragraphs of something, I'm texting back K because I'm busy. It's nothing personal. So that's why I don't like people getting in text and DMs. I want you to pick up the phone. And I'm so dry in a text, you wouldn't even know my personality. But if I can pick up the phone and say, hey, Christy, you're going to love this company. I lost 100 pounds with them. I've made enough money to build my dream ranch. Like, this company's for real. That you can't replace that with anything else. So I'm going through the order of communication and I'm saying, okay, we're going to start contacting these people. And we are going to quick start 1, quick start 2, and hit manager. We're going to do it all within your first 30 days. Okay. Rinse, recycle, repeat, whatever. So how do you grow from there? How do you grow up? Because I want people to grow 10,000 points a month after that. I think we're going to duplicate that same process that you just did with 3 or 4 people this month. So we are working intently. I think anyone that knows me knows, like, I'm a whiteboard maniac. I just want to turn my house into a whiteboard that I can go around writing on the walls. Because when I get up in the morning, I need to know, like, what am I trying to accomplish? Because most of us are parents here or busy people. Like, you get up and reality slaps you in the face. Somebody's going to want something, but I need to get up every morning and know, no, I'm looking for new brand partners. And I am looking to help them build and go up the ranks and send them on their way. Like, if I can get someone to gold manager, you can get some excitement there, but we're not getting people pushed far enough past manager right now. And I think if we would, really bring, I love what Madison said about, stupid simple, keep it simple, something they can do. I use any list. I don't know that it matters what you do as long as it's the same and easy, because I'm going to live and die by the fact a confused distributor does nothing. An overwhelmed distributor does nothing. So I like to keep my little chickens in a little tiny group. I don't like to add them in 500 pages and just do daily drops for them. Hey, this is a good social media post. Hey, are you contact these people today? Or let's do this many 3-way calls. Let's get that meeting set up. But just small tidbits to get that brand new person seeing the vision. But the biggest thing is they're gaining confidence, because every time somebody does something that they're scared to do, they get a little bit of confidence and they feel a little bit of satisfaction, pat themselves on the back. And then that helps them just keep going and going, and going. Yeah, I don't know. I just think there's so much good information out there, but sometimes what happens is we as brand partners, like I've been in this 11 years, I just kind of either word vomit 11 years worth of stuff it took me to find out and learn onto my brand new person, or not enough at all. So I've tried to really go back to the basics. And I know everybody, like, you're going to keep hearing that over and over, but truly it's, if you go back to the basics, do simple things. Network marketing is not a hard business. It's just like, we make it too hard. Right? We make it think, oh, you need to know all this, this, and this. No, think back to what you did on day 1. Robin Packard on day 1, when she decided she wanted to do this business, set up a Facebook party, called the friends I was the most comfortable with. Crystal Nichols was one of them. She's an ambassador now. Julie Carell, she's gold executive. Like, simple people that I knew and just talked about the business. You don't have to know everything. You just have to talk to people. Because nobody joins this company because of me. Nobody joins, God love Calla, Freddie, all the people, all of you leaders. No one joined. They join because of you, because they like you. They trust you. They want to hear what you have to say. They want to hear what it's done for you. And I think we get hung up in our income stories of saying, like, well, I don't have a big enough income story. Robin Packard in 2012 had $64 in her bank account. Your $500 income story would have helped me. If you would have said, hey, can I get a girl that's made almost 10 million on the phone, or a girl that's making an extra 1,000 a month? all day long, I would have said, I need to talk to the girl that's making 1,000, that 10 million. That's not even, that's crazy. That's not even, that's like Santa Claus. I don't even know what you're talking about. I just need to talk to that girl making $1,000 a month. So I hope everybody, like, I think also too, we get real hung up in doing the things we're really comfortable with and not the things we're uncomfortable. And that's what I try to bring on with my brand new brand partners, is saying, hey, we're going to do all the things. We're not going to be a one-trick pony. We're not going to just post on social media. We're going to work on our social media. We're going to work on contacting people, and we're going to be out recruiting and like really bringing brand partners into this company. And that's the scary stuff that I think nobody wants to do. They don't want to be rejected. So it's easier to throw up a post. Well, I'm going to tell you, social selling has changed in 3 years. I used to be able to put up a before and after picture and sell an Ultimate or Ignite all day long. And now people are blind to those. They are blind to graphics. They want to hear you talking. They want to hear your story. They want you to be going live. And that was so hard for me because, y'all, I live in a bun and my leggings. And I was like, how am I going to be doing these lives? But that's what people want to see. They want to see real life people and what it did for you and the quirky little things that you say that relates to. And I think it's easy you've either lost weight or you're making money in Xyngular and you forget that you're talking to that brand new person that just needs to make extra money, that just needs a little bit of hope to make it to the next day. I mean, I started Xyngular, like I said, $64 to my name, thinking I was going to send it back. And I wasn't a huge success on my 8-day. I lost 4 pounds, but I tried everything in the book and couldn't lose 4 pounds in a month. So just that little bit of hope made me keep going. So I'm super excited. I appreciate everybody that put on this training. It's been fantastic. I've learned so much. I know everybody will learn something. I just think if we could all write down like 2 or 3 things that we're scared to death to do and start doing them, that's where you're going to see the magic really happen. And I know nobody wants to hear that. I didn't want to post my pictures on Facebook. I didn't want to be vulnerable. But the 2 biggest things that I ever say that stick with people that come on and join me is I would slide my debit card at a small town grocery store with my 3 little chickens behind me, just praying that it would go through because I didn't want to be embarrassed that it would decline. That hits home for people that need money. That hits home for a single mom. And then the other is I was 100 pounds overweight, and no matter what size clothes I bought, it didn't matter. They didn't fit right. I was always pulling my pants up, pulling my shirt down, holding a baby on my hip, pulling my shirt down, just not comfortable in my skin. And if I just remember to say those things to the new person and talk to the girl that I used to be, you can hit a home run every time if you'll just tell people that and say, you know what could a meme popped up on my Facebook the other day that's like, can you imagine what your life, what you're living now is what you worked for 10 years ago. That hit home for me because right now I'm living the life that 10 years ago I worked for. I mean, I still work for it every day, but like, this is the life that I was wanting so bad 10 years ago. So we just got to get everybody the hope and set the vision, like just start. You don't have to be perfect, but you do have to just start. So thanks y'all. Thanks for having me.
Oh my gosh, Robin, that was awesome. Thank you for all the information. And you guys, that does hit home because we have to remember where we were when we started. Or if you guys are just the ones that are starting, we all started in the same place. We are all different people than we were years ago when we got started with this. So thanks for sharing all of that. Even Robin Packard, you guys, even Robin Packard. So I appreciate you going back and sharing those things. And I've always loved your story. Always, always. So you guys, we are going to close it out with something pretty special today. And I just want to tell a little quick backstory on this. 2 months ago, well, it was in April, I think that was 2 months ago, when I decided, hey, we need something like a Super Saturday. I was coming home from Xyngular. I was driving 6 hours with my kids. They were all sleeping. I was fired up. And I just thought we have to bring the love and the fire. We have to bring it more consistently because we only get to meet together a few times a year. So I wanted to do this. And I mentioned it to Mark Walker. And I told him one day I want to get you on there. I want to get you on our Super Saturday. It's going to be awesome. You know what? And I never said it again to him. I know there's a lot going on. I know he's super busy. We had Russ Callie on with us last time, and I hadn't talked to Mark. I know he's been traveling. I know he's doing family stuff, and he called me out of the blue last night, and we talked for a little bit, and then he said, "Hey, I remember you mentioning the Super Saturday thing to me before, and that you had wanted me to get on one time." And I was like, "Yeah." I was like, and he said, "I noticed you're doing one tomorrow." And I said, "Yeah, we are. I'm a little nervous. We talked a little bit about it." And he says, "Well, would you like me to come on?" And I was like, "What? You guys, what co-founder of any other company would call someone the night before an event they were not asked to speak at? They would take 3 hours or 2.5 hours, whatever we're going to go today, out of their family's life in the middle of the summer on a Saturday morning and say, 'Hey, I would love to be a part of this.'" And so that's who we have running our ship. And I was so excited. And then I got even more nervous and I was like, "Oh my gosh, here we go." And so Mark Walker, we love and appreciate you so much. Thank you for offering to jump on with us today in the midst of your crazy busy schedule. And I'm just going to turn it over to you and just close this crazy awesome meeting out. So it's all yours, Mark.
All right. Thanks, Christy. And hey, everybody. It's good to be on. Glad I can be. And, I felt so bad missing the last one. I was somewhere, I don't know where, and I wasn't able to be on. But I heard so many good things. Just like literally everybody was saying how integral this was to giving them new ideas, giving them things that they can go out and improve their business on. And so I was like, dang. So I went back and watched it. And then when Christy was talking about being on another one, I was like, well, what day? So she told me the day, and I actually put it in my calendar with a 1-day reminder so that I would know the day before. So I'm sitting in the office yesterday and a little notification comes up. And anyway, I didn't get back with Christy till last night, but it's a pleasure to be able to be on and to be able to listen to everybody who shared. I have notes on the different things that they talked about. Loved Xyngular as a profession. I think that is critical. I think that is people don't think of it that way. They don't think of this as a profession. So appreciated everything Stacy said. I've got a couple of comments before I get into all the stuff I want to talk about. But my thoughts on that are, if we're looking at Xyngular as a profession, both whether we're full-time or if I'm doing this part-time, but I want to make it my full-time profession, I think the key, and somebody talked about this, Melissa Corbin, the key is to treat it like a profession. I don't go to work, at least hopefully you don't go to work, and get online and go through Facebook and, go talk to my coworkers and blah, 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 and not do any work, right? But I see a lot of people who tell me they're doing this full time, but as I go through their account, there's not a lot of productivity in the time that they're putting into their quote unquote business full time. So whether you're doing it part time, and trust me, everybody starts part time. So everybody's been in the same situation you are if you're just starting out or building your business part time.
Hey, Mark.
They all started there.
Mark,
yes.
Your camera's off.
All right, let me fix
Sorry to interrupt you, but the little button bottom left.
All right, I'll grab it.
Thank you.
Not better? Okay. All right. So a lot of people put time into this business, but not productive time. And that is so key to making sure that the time we're putting into it is productive. And so, what I like to say is go through at night, say, okay, tomorrow I'm going to put 2 hours into building my Xyngular business. And then again, I hope everybody's doing this. Go through, this is the most important thing I need to do. Okay, so that's first. Then this is the most important thing I need to do. That's second. Then if I have time, I'll do this thing. Even if this is what I like, this is my favorite thing to do in the whole world, build my business, right? If it's third, it's only done after the first two, and if you have time, right? And so you're making sure that you're putting in that super productive time, the things that are going to give you a return on that time invested. At XLC, Russ Callie talked about our return on investment, right? Or return on the time invested. And I like to also look at it as return on effort, right? So whether you're looking at ROI or ROE, for the time and effort you're putting in, what is the return? And if you're not getting a return, even if you heard somebody else was, even if you know somebody else is, if you're not, what could you do that's going to give you more return on the time that you invest. Because again, you have a limited amount of time. Even if you're doing this full time, you've got other demands on your time. So you've got a limited amount of time you're putting into this business. And are you doing the things that are going to give you the most return, right, for your effort? I fear, and I actually also believe this, that a lot of people do what they think are things that are going to build their business, and actually all they're doing is putting in time and effort without any return. I call those time-consuming activities. They're time-consuming. They take time, and you think that you're doing things, but if you're not getting a result, then why are you doing it, right? When I grew up on a dairy farm, my dad would send me and my brother and my two cousins out to do work, and all he cared about, he didn't want excuses. He didn't want us to come home because we're tired or hungry or forgot water or whatever. We came home when the job was done, right? And I remember being out in a field, like it's 100 degrees in August. You're sweating, you're dying of thirst. You're like 10 or 11, teeny kid. And I was the oldest, so the other ones were younger. And we were seriously, at that age thinking that, I'll never get a drink of water again. But the job wasn't done. And so we kept working and working and working. And let's be real, the reason that we were hot and thirsty and tired and we still weren't done yet is probably because we were playing, right? We weren't being as time effective as we needed to be, but we knew we couldn't go home until the job was done. So we'd buckle down, we would get that job done. And I remember walking by irrigation ditches with their muddy water, walking by a canal that I know went through a couple of dairy farms up above us, and looking at that water, wondering how sick I would get if I drank it, right? That's how thirsty we were. But we didn't go home until the job was done. And that's something that's just helped me my whole life. You can make excuses, you can have all kinds of things, quote unquote, take up the time of your day or whatever. But if you're not getting the job done, it's just an excuse, right? And so again, manage your time well. What is the most important thing that's actually going to build my business? It's going to give me a return. That's number one. Second, third, you go through the list. When your time is up that you can spend building your business, then you go do the other things. And if you didn't get to the things you like, then you try and work harder and faster and better tomorrow so you can get those important things done so you can do the things you want. So anyway, and Heather, I 100% agree. Don't get sidetracked. I think that is so, so important, right? And I think when I went to this other page to look at the speakers, that's what shut off my camera. So I won't go back. But besides Stacy, there was a lot of people who told us some really good things. Melissa had some really good advice from Rudy. One of the things that I've heard so much when I've gotten back from XLC is I've got to do better at putting in and making sure that 80% of my time is building my business. And I got a call from Freddie Elias yesterday who decided to put that into action. He signed up 4 people. I think it was the day before yesterday and one yesterday, but phenomenal, right? But he spent his time that he was gone for XLC gathering contacts. He got 12 people he needed to follow up with just in that trip, right? And he's been following up with them, and 4 of them are now part of Xyngular. And I kudos. I think that's phenomenal, right? So it's these little things that we do. It's the little adjustments that we make every day that make us better. And again, sorry, I can't go to the page, so I can't see who talked about this, but somebody talked about the fact that the person we are now isn't the person we were 5 years ago, and it dang well better not be the person we're going to be in 5 years, right? But where I am now is where I am, and I can't beat myself up because I'm not Robin, and I can't, blame my growing up years and my childhood and everything. But no. All that's important is here's where I am now. Here's my strengths, weaknesses. Here's what I can do. So let's do that today. Tomorrow, I'll do what I can tomorrow. The next day, I'll do what I can that day. In 5 years, I'll be super more capable, knowledgeable, and better than I am now, and I'll be able to get more done. So don't beat yourself up for things that are not that are just going to hold you back, right? When we're beating on ourselves, all we're doing is slowing ourselves down. All you're doing is taking away that belief, taking away that confidence. Just let's go do it. Another thing my dad taught me is just get the job done. He doesn't care how, he doesn't care, figure it out. That was one of his things. Just go figure it out. Because he's milking cows. And my dad, it makes him sound harsh, but he would get up at 4:30 and he'd go out and milk cows. When he was done milking cows at like 11:30, he'd go work on whatever, change water, drive tractor, whatever needed to be done. Because he knew at 4:30 he had to be back in the barn to milk cows, and he knew he'd be done about 11, right? And so that didn't give him very much time to listen to a lot of excuses from a bunch of kids. He just needed stuff to get done. And that's one of the things that he passed on to us is just figure it out, get it done. And that's something that, again, one of those things that helps me in my life. But a lot of those things is just taking action. I can go out there and look at some piece of machinery I have to work on. I don't know how it works. I don't know what to do, blah, blah, blah. There's a bearing out or a belt off. Just start. You'll figure it out as you go. And after you've done it for a while, you're actually better than when you started. So, but if we don't start, we never get better. So that's another thing. Another thing that couple of, again, things from today and also things from XLC that I think are super important. Number one, there are always going to be obstacles. There's always going to be government problems, economy problems, world problems, pandemic problems, whatever, right? Kind of problems. And we can get sidetracked or drama. I mean, holy cow, we're in a people business, right? And I love the fact that we get to work with people. It's one of my favorite things. But one of the hardest things is we work with people, right? And some people live on drama. They love to go from one dramatic thing to the other, and this and that and the other, and so said this and that. And I'll tell you what, I literally don't have time for that. We've got so much to do, but we just got to move forward. And if you're listening to or participating in drama, you're slowing yourself down. You're hurting yourself. And if you're passing on drama, it's 10 times as worse because you're slowing down and diminishing somebody else, right? Drama is for people who have nothing better to do. Drama is for people who are small-minded, right? We are not. We have such important things to do. We have such great things to do, not only for yourself and for ourselves, but for other people. Our success, right? Any of you on this call, any of your downline, anybody that you ever bring in, your success rests on your ability to help them be successful. And the better we get at helping other people be successful, the better we're going to be. We built Xyngular so that there's no downside for you in helping other people. I've been in companies where that was the case. Like if I sponsored some super duper downline person, I wanted them to grow, yes, but I didn't want them to grow too fast because if they pass me for very many months in a row, I actually lose them and they roll up to the next leader. Okay, that was one of the companies I used to work for. That's their comp plan. And so we would have people sign people up and then basically help them a little bit. But if they really started growing fast, they're like, okay, wait. I don't want to help you anymore because you're going to pass me. And I always was just thinking that was the dumbest comp plan in the world because why do you want to slow down your downline, right? So with Xyngular, we purposefully built our plan so that there's no way that you helping somebody's ever going to hurt you. The faster they run, the bigger they get, the better it is for you, right? The more people we can help get successful, the better it is for you. And so that's something, again, that you've got to understand so that, again, as you value your time, both building your business, but also helping other people, time is so valuable. It's so precious. Why waste it? Why waste it on things that are just not going to get you anywhere, not going to get them anywhere, and I always, that's one of the, I guess, blessings I have is I just am like, it's not my problem, it's yours. I'm sorry. And well, I got better things to do. Let's go. Right. I got people that need help that really are working that I can help. And that's just, again, that's my mindset. And it might seem a little brutal to some, but it's just the way it is. That's me. Okay. Because I'm excited about what I can do. I'm excited about what I can help people to do better. I'm excited about helping somebody grow faster, see a new idea, figure out something that's been holding them back and think, oh my gosh, I can now, move ahead because I love that. I love helping people. I love to watch you grow. I love to watch you go from a new person or a lot of you might meet, if not an event at the headquarter retreat. And, you're new, big eyes coming through the office for the first time and we get to know each other. And then I get to see you come back to Sundance. I get to see you at an event. I get to see you go on the cruise in the Caribbean. I get to see you and hopefully be with you in Dubai. Don't get to go to all of them anymore, but as many as I can, because those are the things that make me happy. Those are the things that when you get off that plane in Dubai and you're looking at all these buildings, you're like, holy cow, I never imagined this place would be like that. When we're bombing through the dunes in a 4-wheel drive, just don't sit next to Chrissy because she's going to have you in a death grip. But when we're bombing through the dunes of Dubai, watching Falcon, perform, going and see the Burj Khalifa, the tallest building in the world. And when we're doing those things and I can see your faces and just that to me is just fun. I love that. Okay. Those are the things that drive me. Those are the things that I want to take up my time. Those are the things that I want to focus on, because those are the things that actually build people, that help people, that develop them and give both them and their organization results. Those are the things I like to focus on. So I think, again, as leaders of your organization, no matter what level, okay, if you sponsored one person, you are the leader of that organization. So as leaders of your organization, focus on that. Focus on, am I growing or diminishing? Am I building or tearing down? Am I productive or unproductive? All these things are things that as leaders, we've got to work on. We've got to work on ourselves. And it's not just reading books and listening to personal coaches and all that kind of stuff, but it's actually changing habits, changing mindsets, changing actions to make ourselves better, right? I could read, in fact, I know people that have read and listened to coaches for 10 years, right? That are literally no more effective than they were 10 years ago. And I've thought a lot about that. They could quote, they can teach, they can dun, but they're no more effective. They're no more better a leader for themselves or their downline than they were 10 years ago. Why? Why is that? The knowledge is there. They're super smart up here, but they haven't changed those things, this into actions, activity, right? They haven't changed fundamentally themselves. And so, again, this is a personal growth business. We grow ourselves and then we help grow other people. That's literally what we do. We grow them personally, we grow them business-wise, we grow them health-wise, right? That is what we do. And again, I love the fact that we do that. Just the favorite thing in the world. What else could we ever do that would be more rewarding than doing this, right? What else could I do in my life that would be better than helping other people grow, help other people be successful, help other people reduce pain, lose weight, feel better? What could I possibly do that is better than that? And I honestly can't think of anything, okay? Can't think of anything. So those are the things that we get to do. Don't get caught up in the other stuff, because there'll always be stuff, but get caught up in the good. If somebody tells you a story that brings you down, I hop on the computer, go through and find a story of somebody that blew it out of the water. I personally, who got quick start, who got double quick start, who got last month the rank up bonuses, how much did they get, right? Did anybody get double or triple rank up bonuses? And yes, they did, because I went and looked. Who hit their first month of extreme builder in 3 weeks, right? Those are the things that I go look at. There's always the downers. There's always people complaining. There's always problems, but there's always good. It's just, what am I going to focus on? Okay, what am I going to have to the front? What am I going to share? What am I going to talk about? Am I going to share the negative? Am I going to share the sarcastic and the, whatever, or am I going to share the good? And to me, I'm going to share the good, because there's so much good out there, and there's enough people sharing the other stuff. I don't need to jump on that bandwagon, right? One more thing that I wanted to hit. Sorry. Okay, here we go. Okay, I kind of hit that already. So the other couple of points that I love that were shared today were basically finding out what people want. I believe it was Jamie that talked about this. You can talk about yourself and great, you entertain, but you find out about somebody else and what they need. And that's what great sharers, great salespeople, great helpers do. They find out about what the people that they're talking to need. And the better you get at finding out about them and meeting their needs, then the better person you're going to be, the better distributor you're going to be, everything. Somebody else said this, and I can't remember who, but they said, we can do online and we need to. Michael made me feel like I need to repent, because the last time I posted was maybe a year ago on my page, maybe more. So I need to do better. And I know for a fact that the picture I have is far away. It's me and Julie. So we look like specks. You don't know who we are when you see the picture. So Michael, I will go back and change those things. And I'll try to do better on social media. But that is great, because it widens your net. It gives you a wider and farther reach. And so I I'm not taking anything away from that, but during the pandemic and in the world today, so much of the interaction that people have with others is online, and it's not person to person. I was on a call with a group, and I apologize if some of you are on this. To me, it was a really good thing. We were talking about, things people do every day that they think are building their business, and a lot of it is online. And they were telling me, this, and I'm like, well, what's been your return? I was actually going through, are they income producing activities or time consuming activities? And I said, what's your return? And it wasn't very good in the last year or two. And sponsored very many people doing that, but there was 9 people on the Zoom, and they were all doing these things. And I said, well, I would look at what else could you do that would actually help you do better than you've done the last year or two. And one of them said, well, what would you do, Mark? And I was like, well, I'm not going to say that, but I will say just off the top of my head that if I went to Walmart for 15 to 30 minutes every day, which is how much time they said they spent on these activities every day. If I went to Walmart every day for 15 to 30 minutes a day, got in the longest line and started talking to the people in front of me and behind me, I'll bet you money that I could sponsor more than 1 to 2 people in the next 1 to 2 years. And they're all kind of like, huh? And I said, I'm just using that as an example, right? But we've got to get better at meeting the people that we interact with on a daily basis. When I go fill up, some people say, well, I just work from home, so I don't meet people. And I will say that's not true. Okay, not true. You go to the grocery store, right? You pass people in the aisle, you are in line with people. You go to Walmart or Target or wherever you go, same thing. You get gas, you're surrounded by people. Okay, I was at the gas station yesterday, surrounded by people. And I can strike up conversations with them. I talked to the guy behind me because he had a cool pickup, right? I've talked to people that had, oh, that's a sweet Jeep. Tell me about it. What are these? What are that? Talk to just college kids. Hey, how you doing? Because college kids, everybody ignores them. So you got to say hi, right? And just make them feel good. But I try to talk to people, and that's not my nature. That doesn't come easy for me. But if I ask you to do it, then I've got to do it, right? So I'm trying to, and we don't have to like, hey, what's your name? And I need your email and blah, blah, blah. No. All we have to do is get to know them. If I see a kid with a cool car, I'm asking him about his car. Okay. If I see somebody that's dressed nicely, asking about that. Wow, you're in a suit. It's the middle of the summer. I'm in shorts. Were you in a meeting or what? And a funeral. Tell me, and you strike up a conversation, right? And they'll talk to you. But we just have to meet people. I know a lot of you, and I know a couple of people have told me that I've gone through my warm and cold market. I have nobody left to talk to, and I'm like, you have teenage kids, and Christy, this wasn't you, but you have teenage kids. I know you're at a sporting event, 3 times a week, right? Surrounded by people, some of whom you talk to, some of who you haven't. And again, it wasn't Christy. I'm just using her as an example because I'm looking at her right now. But the thing is we are surrounded by people. We just have to get good at getting to meet them, getting to know them. And again, you don't have to close every single person you talk to, but we have to get good at talking to people. So we should be practicing that because they can hear, and again, I can't remember who said this, they can hear the excitement in your voice. They can hear the passion. They can hear the like, this is the best thing ever, right? Where if it's on a text or something like that, there's no way to convey the passion, right? The commitment, the conviction. And so we need to get back to that and doing both. I don't want to say, oh, Mark said don't do social media. That's not what I'm saying. Do both and get good at both, right? Because they're both huge assets to you who are trying to build your business in both meeting new people, staying in contact with people, and showing them what Xyngular has. So those are a couple of things that that I wanted to be sure I talked about tonight. But thank you again for everybody that took time to not only speak to us today, but also who took time to listen, to be a part of this. I didn't go through all the chats, but there's like a billion. So I know there's a lot of people on here. I appreciate everybody who took the time to set this up. Christy, you, Melissa, and Stacy, and whoever else I don't know that was involved in this, because you guys are the ones that make all this happen. And let us share what we are passionate about, what we know with other people, and hopefully help them. Again, because the reason that we're taking this time isn't for us, but it's so that we can put ideas in your head that you can now get off and say, okay, now what am I doing and what can I do a little better? What can I change a little bit? Because it's not massive course corrections. Again, it's little tiny changes that add up over time to make us hugely better than we were before, hugely more effective than we were before. Both people that are new and also those of us that have been around a long time. Sometimes we're still set in our ways. That's a little harder for us to change, but we need to change if we want to not only keep up with where the world is, but continue to be a good leader for our people and grow our business. So again, thanks, Christy. Appreciate the time and the opportunity, and it was a pleasure to be on.
Awesome. Hey, thank you so much, Mark, for jumping on last minute and joining us as well. You guys, if you are not inspired by something that happened here today, you need to check your pulse. You need to realize, what am I doing here? Change something, because it was incredible. And really, how amazing is this that we had, I think I saw the highest number was like 170 people on this Zoom on a Saturday morning in the middle of the summer. I know a ton of people will catch this recording, but congratulations for being here, for showing up. Be proud of yourself for doing that. And like I said, if you didn't get something from this, there is seriously something wrong. But we'll get the recording out. Thanks, Melissa, for taking care of the recording. Share this recording with your teams. Share it with your downline. Share it with your upline if they weren't able to get on, because there's so many things that we can incorporate that are going to help us so much with changing Xyngular and just blowing this up. But you guys don't just get on trainings. I know a lot of us, and I loved the time management part that talked about how much we should be putting into everything, because I know a lot of times we are so overtrained and we don't apply it. You have got to apply things that you've learned. So do something about it. Take the action. Do the little calls to action that were given through the Zoom. Go back and rewatch if you need to, but there were little tidbits of things, just like the little things, like Mark said, change just a little bit at a time. Those were given to us. So go do the calls to action, challenge yourself, get organized, and you guys make Xyngular a priority in your schedule. Remember to put it on your calendar. Schedule it just like you would, a sports game. Like for me, that's huge priority. So Xyngular has to be on my schedule as much as that is. And what I want you guys to do, if you have not already, make sure that you mark your calendars for ZingFest. Start planning now. It's October 6th and 7th in Louisville, Kentucky. Start planning for it now. Get registered now, but don't just go by yourself. Bring your team. Set a goal of how many people you're going to have with you and bring with you, and let's make that a great event. Another little plug for Jamaica. You guys, our Founders Club trip, the deadline is right around the corner. I want to see everybody there. These trips will change your entire world. So start making these little steps, taking these little actions, and get yourself to where you need to be. Reach out to leaders, reach out to Crossline, Upline, whoever you need. This 333 ATM, if you're not doing it, start doing it, because that's going to change the course of your journey as well. So I'm just going to end with this, you guys. We have literally the best products, the best opportunity, the best comp plan, the best corporate staff, the best leaders that are running this ship, and the best people involved. Now let's go out and share that with the world. So I hope you guys all have a great weekend. Thank you for jumping on and joining us, and we'll let you know when the next one's going to be. Thanks everybody for speaking as well. You guys are amazing. Bye guys.
See everybody.